This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn magazine, shouting about volume up and price down. Looks like good news for readers. It's packed with info on the latest Saturn games. The main feature seems to be Real Sound, Wind Regret. Probably a big interview about that game. There's a special feature highlighting games that gamers will love, listing a bunch of titles like Super Robot Wars F, Resident Evil, Last Bronx, Culdicept, Sengoku Blade, Slayer's Try, and Kindaichi Case Files, Rockman X4, and J.League Pro Soccer Club. Otsukuru 2 are also featured. Towards the right side, there's a section called SEGA Saturn Latest Software Rush Bombing, mentioning titles like Langrisser IV and V, Thunder Force V, Marvel Superheroes, Momotaro Katsugeki, Cat the Ripper, DX Jinsei Game 2, Roommate, Zeroion Champ Doozy Type R, and Makyo Samurai Spirits. It's a jam-packed issue covering a wide range of genres for Saturn fans. This page is an advert for a SEGA Saturn game, described as a full-scale love story. You play as the main character Hiroshi, reliving your first love and the memories that surround it in this romantic drama. It's designed to gently open up your heart and deliver a touching and slightly melancholic story to everyone. The game is presented as a beautiful and emotional experience, promising a heartwarming tale. The SEGA Saturn logo is clearly displayed at the bottom, confirming it's a game for that system. This page is an advert for the SEGA Saturn game Real Sound, Kaze no Regret. Continuing on the theme of emotional storytelling from the previous page, this game is quite unique as it's designed to be played entirely with sound, meaning you don't even need to look at the screen. It's advertised as a game where you only use sound to play, and it is coming out on Friday, July 18th, as a set of 4 Cree-drums. The price is 6,400 yen before tax, and you can check out their website at realsound.co.jp. It's from Warp Inc. and is marked with their Warp logo and the letters Warp, likely representing the console compatibility or developer. This page is an action-packed advert for the SEGA Saturn game Finalist, a 3D mission shooting title. The page highlights the intense storyline, where in the near future, a tyrant is developing ultimate weapons capable of destroying humanity and the world. As a finalist, the strongest agent, you pilot the B-1 Craft hovercar to infiltrate enemy territory and stop the tyrant's ambition. It's advertised with the tagline, "Game tuned by Gaga Communications," and features a large image with the powerful words, "Super Explosion / Crushing." This SEGA Saturn version is promoted as an urgent release and was set to launch on August 8, 1997, with a standard price of 5,800 yen. There's also a special campaign mentioned, where if you bought a new SEGA Saturn game and console together between June 20th and August 31st, you could get a cool pad accessory as a free gift at participating stores. The game is published by Gaga Communications and Ocean Software, with copyright information dating back to 1996 and 1997. This page is an advert for the SEGA Saturn role-playing game Slayer's Royal. It's hyped as the Slayer's game fans have been waiting for, featuring characters that fans love in a dream collaboration, saying it's a title fans absolutely shouldn't miss. The advert emphasizes Lena and Guri, boasting about their hot appearance and promising amazing cutscenes and powerful battle sequences. The release date is highlighted as July 25th, with a price of 6,300 yen, excluding tax. It also mentions the Cool Pad Present campaign, which we saw on the previous page, reminding players that if they buy a new SEGA Saturn console and software together by August 31st, they can get a free Cool Pad accessory at participating stores. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Yukyu Gensukyoku, which seems to have the subtitle Happy End. It looks like a role-playing game with a strong visual novel element, judging by the anime art style and focus on characters. The game's story is about a young man who arrives in a town called Enfield, where he experiences kindness for the first time after a solitary life. However, trouble finds him as he's framed for something he didn't do. To clear his name, he needs to gain the trust of the townspeople. The page highlights the game's positive reception on SEGA Saturn, stating it's well received and on sale now. There's a release campaign where players can win prizes by sending in a questionnaire from inside the game box, and also mentions a range of related merchandise like official comic fan books, a strategy guide, a soundtrack CD, and even a drama CD that was released earlier in August. You can also expect goods like posters, postcards, t-shirts, and mousepads available at stores. Interestingly, there was even a radio drama called Koyasu, Hyojo no Gemdora Night, airing every Sunday, featuring the game's cast in an interactive format. Overall, it paints a picture of a popular RPG, with a lot of cross-media tie-ins, typical of the era. This page advertises the word processor set, digital camera-compatible version, for the SEGA Saturn, which essentially turns your console into a word processor. The main selling point is the ability to easily incorporate photos, including those from digital cameras, into your documents, making it fun and versatile. You can even grab screenshots directly from your SEGA Saturn games to use. The software boasts features like creating original name cards, using colorful printouts, and various creative applications such as recipe cards or wardrobe lists. It also emphasizes creating photo stickers and utilizing built-in game character clip art from popular titles like Tokimeki Memorial and Angelique to decorate your creations. If you have a video input terminal, you can even import images from TVs or VCRs. The SEGA Saturn word processor set is priced at 36,800 yen, and a separate digital camera-compatible version upgrade kit is available for 16,800 yen, both releasing on July 25th. It seems to be targeted at users who want to personalize letters, cards, and stickers with a fun SEGA Saturn twist. This page showcases Nightruth, explanation of the paranormal, boasting the tagline, "Two truths only." It looks like a mystery adventure game with a supernatural twist for the SEGA Saturn. The main visual is a cute anime girl character with orange pigtails and a school uniform striking a peace sign pose. She's probably the main character. The text around her talks about sad, wicked shadows lurking in people's hearts, and 5 loves, saving sorrowful hearts lured into the darkness. This hints at a story driven by emotions and possibly relationship elements in a dark setting. There are 3 small screenshots at the bottom right, giving a glimpse of what seems to be in-game scenes with character interactions. They are advertising a release date of July 25th and a price of 5,800 yen. The page also highlights a gorgeous voice cast, which includes names like Kanai Miura, Yumi Tuma, A. Orikasa, and many others, implying a strong focus on character voice acting, which was becoming popular at the time. There's also a small advert for a cool pad present. Looks like some kind of giveaway related to SEGA Saturn purchases. This page showcases a collection of strategy guides for popular SEGA Saturn games. First up is the Cyberbots Full Metal Madness Perfect Guide, promising complete coverage of both versus and CPU battles, with data, illustrations, and secret techniques. It boasts to cover everything from basics to advanced techniques, compiled by expert game writers. Next, there's the Martian Successor Nadesico Perfect Guide, with the tagline, "In the end, love wins." This guide is described as a complete strategy book that lets you make every character your lover, suggesting relationship elements are covered. It features original illustrations, full-color printing, and is packed with content. The guidebook is for the SEGA Saturn game Martian Successor Nadesico. Then, there is a Theme Park Perfect Guide, focusing on tips and tricks for building your own amusement park. It's advertised as a guide to master park creation and is compatible with both SEGA Saturn and PlayStation versions. Following that, we have the Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression Bible, which is already on its second printing and boasts sales of over 180,000 copies, indicating its popularity. Finally, there are guides for Advanced World War Senin Taikoku no Kubu Official Guide, providing official data and promising to cover everything in the game, and Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden, the Blue Destiny Setting Material Collection, featuring original illustrations by Kunio Okawara. All these guides are advertised as being available now, and are receiving positive reviews, and are on sale. This page is the contents page of the magazine, showcasing what's inside this issue. At the top, there is a feature called Gamer's Body is Number 110, which seems to be a guide on how to set up a comfortable gaming environment and improve your gaming setup. Then there is a Special Report section highlighting a bunch of games. This includes Super Robot Wars, F, Resident Evil, Last Bronx, Culdicept, Slayers Royal, The Mystery of Tutankhamun Ankh, Mega Man X4, Sega's Let's Make a J-League Soccer Club 2, Kindaichi Case Files, Hoshimijima, Revenge of Sorrowful Oni, Real Sound, Wind Regret, Cave Dragon Battle Chaos Seed, and Soviet Strike. Next to this list of games, there's an image of a tough-looking woman in military-style clothing, may be related to one of these game features. Finally, at the bottom, another feature is mentioned. Monthly Family Computer Magazine, Master Enko Sanyute, talks about Xanadu. It seems like a discussion or interview with Master Enko Sanyute about the classic game Xanadu from the Monthly Family Computer Magazine. This SEGA Saturn press section highlights new and upcoming games. New releases include niche titles like pachinko simulators and beauty contest games, alongside Find Love, Tactical Fighter, and Dark Seed 2. The Coming Soon software section features anticipated titles like Thunder Force vs. Langrisser IV and Marvel Superheroes, plus Momotaro Daikiden and Cat the Ripper. A SEGA Saturn software complete guide is previewing in-depth guides for released games, with mentions of Zero Yan Champ Doozy J Typer and True Story Samurai Spirits Bushido Chronicles. AM3 Research announces the Top Skater National Tournament for The Lost World Jurassic Park, as well as Battleborn and Virtual on X Over. AM1 Research reveals fully updated player data for Dynamite Baseball 97. Lastly, a game index provides page numbers for various games covered, including Culdcept, Cat the Ripper, Mega Man X4, and Resident Evil. This page is an advertisement for Minton Police 24 Hours Clown Murder Case, a mystery adventure game for the SEGA Saturn. The ad features a close-up of a rather unsettling clown with balloons in the background and a circus scene below. It highlights that the game utilizes a new visual system called SAME and is scheduled for release in October, priced at 5,800 yen. A special campaign for SEGA Saturn purchasers is mentioned, offering prizes in red and black sets. The red set includes a Victorinox Classic Army knife and a Zippo lighter set, while the black set offers the same army knife and a cross ballpoint pen set. There is also a W chance for an original telephone card related to the game, available through a lottery for those who won A or B prizes. SEGA Saturn news includes events and promotions. The Lost World Jurassic Park Eve Festival at Tokyo Joyopolis on July 6th celebrated the movie and game launch, offering prizes like movie tickets and Timberland shoes. The event featured the game director and included a non-commercial CD-ROM for attendees. Project Sonic continues with Sonic Supporters Volume 2 this summer, offering Sonic merchandise and t-shirts through a lottery, with entries due by the end of August. An orchestra concert to hear Evangelion took place on July 9th at Tokyo Orchard Hall, featuring the New Japan Philharmonic Orchestra, performing music from Neon Genesis Evangelion, hosted by voice actors and accompanied by scene projections. Limited edition posters were sold at the event, which was popular, especially with younger audiences. This month's SEGA Saturn news features diverse promotions. July's Saturn Day is at Tokyo Joypopolis, highlighting full-car Mini Yonku Super Factory with races and prizes. The fantasy romance Princess Rouge is getting a videoed OVA release on September 25th. Media Quest's 2D Idol Encyclopedia, a guide to 2D idols, is targeting Saturn users with character profiles and merchandise info. A Tenchi Muyo telecard promotion for the new movie is offering prizes. Bandai's Gunpla Powerful Campaign offers scratch cards for Gundam model purchases. To celebrate the Tokimeki Memorial movie release, limited edition merchandise is available starting July 22nd. Finally, SNK is participating in the second Asian Rally 97 rally game with Team Mandara SNK. Upcoming SEGA Saturn news includes a Freetalk Studio CD giveaway and a demo for the baseball game Gekitotsu Koshien. Biohazard Resident Evil is coming to PC in September with enhanced visuals and new content. August's Wonder Festival will showcase vintage figure models, including Neon Genesis Evangelion. Music releases abound. Kazuki Ichizu's debut, Matsuno Taiki's Happiness is in hand, and 2 remix albums, a Nights remix and Psyched Club mix, featuring music from Nights into Dreams and racing games. Also releasing are albums from Cascade, Glove-N-Time, a Roommate Inu Ryoko vocal collection, and a Dragon Quest orchestral best selection album featuring music from the first 3 games. This page features an interview with Juna Morishita, who expresses her admiration for idols and how that led her to this world of entertainment. She's involved in the SEGA Saturn game, Album Club, Dokimeki Heart Sent Port Aria Academy. Morishita plays a high school girl named Momozawa Hotaru in the game, a role she felt was very relatable to her own personality. She enjoys taking pictures of girls, which is a key element of the game. She mentions enjoying location shooting in Okinawa for the game, though it wasn't a large group, only about 4 people including herself and Kawasaki-chan. She notes that all 4 of her released singles have fruit names in their titles, and her album is called Fruit Parfait, which she says means perfect. She aims to cherish her idol image in her singing career, and sees her voice acting and CM work, as well as game roles, as ways to challenge herself while maintaining that idol image. She concludes by saying she will work hard so that the word idol does not disappear. This page showcases the top 15 best-selling Sega Saturn games of the week, as featured in SEGA Saturn magazine. Topping the charts is Samurai Shodown 2 Ein, Blades of Blood, an RPG adaptation of the fighting game series, praised for its depth and story. Following closely in second place is Sonic Jam, a compilation featuring multiple Sonic games, highlighted for its replay value and time attack mode. In third place is Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete, dubbed the definitive version, and praised for its beautiful visuals. Other notable titles in the top rankings include Zero Yan Champ RRZ, a racing game, Mr. Bones, an action game with unique gameplay, and Quiz Ninero Dreams, Rainbow-Colored Towns Miracle, a quiz game with an easy difficulty mode. Further down the list, we see Underclassmen, described as a dating sim for mature audiences. Macross, Do You Remember Love? A shooting game based on the anime. Advanced Daizenryaku, Strong Style, a strategy game recommended for beginners, and Daisuki, another adventure title. The list continues with classics like Saturn Bomberman, sports games like Greatest 997, and compilation or utility discs like GameWare Volume 5. Rounding out the top 15 are shooting games Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus and the puzzle game Magical Drop 2i. The magazine seems to be highlighting the variety of genres popular on the Sega Saturn at this time, from RPGs and action games to quiz and dating sims. This page presents 2 distinct top charts. First, there's a user data top 20, which lists games that readers want to see converted to the Sega Saturn. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden at number 1, followed by the House of the Dead and the Final Fantasy series, are topping the list of desired conversions. Other notable games in this section include Virtua Striker series, Tales of Phantasia, Street Fighter 2 Eyes, Metal Gear Solid, and Electric Train Go. There are little notes about the realization degree for some games, like 70% for Street Fighter 2i and a low 10% for Metal Gear Solid, hinting at technical challenges perhaps. The second chart, Shop Data Top 15, ranks the best-selling arcade video games. Virtua Fighter 3 is at the top, followed by Tekken 3 and Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire. This list also features titles like Virtua Striker 2, Cyber Troopers Virtualon, Street Fighter 2i, Top Skater, The House of the Dead, and Scud Race. There's a 1-point check game section, focusing on Le Mans 24, highlighting its upcoming Sega Model 3 board release in March, emphasizing its 24-hour endurance race format and free entry system, which sounds like a cool feature, allowing players to jump into a race at any time. There are also screenshots of Street Fighter 2 Eyes, Metal Gear Solid, Virtua Fighter 3, and Top Skater, which give a glimpse into these popular arcade titles. This page presents a user data chart of anticipated Sega Saturn games. Grandia tops the list, praised for its battle system. Sakura Wars 2 is a close second, gaining momentum with new story reveals. Super Robot Wars F takes third place, with its narrative being a major draw. The pickup check game for the week is Slayers Royal, known for its visuals. Culdicept, ranked 65, is also highlighted, emphasizing its card and board game elements. The top 30 includes a variety of titles, such as Virtua Fighter 3, Biohazard, Sonic R, and X-Men vs. Street Fighter. The Other Check, coming soon! Section focuses on Resident Evil and Sonic War, offering screenshots and additional details in other parts of the magazine. This page showcases the Reader's Race Volume 61, which is essentially a popularity ranking of SEGA Saturn games voted on by readers. At the top of the charts is Eve Burst Error, followed by Sakura Wars and Sonic Jam. The page highlights Sonic Jam in a special box, noting its brief stint at number 1 and then a slight drop, attributing it to strong competition from Eve and Sakura Wars. The article mentions that many new software titles are getting good scores and attracting attention, but the rankings are still somewhat unstable and depend on the software in question. There are screenshots from Sonic Jam featured in the highlighted box. The page is mainly a USR voted ranking chart, with a small commentary section on the top game movements. This SEGA Saturn page highlights new game reviews alongside reader rankings. Quiz Nanero Dreams, from Capcom, a love simulation game, earned high user scores despite a slightly lower magazine rating, suggesting strong player appeal. Strunks Shinsetsu Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden, Samurai Showdown RPG, was praised for capturing the series' essence, but criticized for clunky controls, again showing user preference. Shenryu, likely Strikers 1945-2, received decent scores as a shooter, though it was criticized for lack of originality. Maruka Shinjitsu no Sekai, an RPG from Victor Interactive Software, received praise for its story and scope, although some found leveling up tedious, and both reader and magazine scores were aligned. The page also features a continuation of the reader ranking list, emphasizing the magazine's focus on tracking game popularity through reader votes. This page features new game reviews and the continuation of the reader rankings. We've got a spotlight on Mr. Bones, an action title described as simple to control and with stages that feel long but are easy to grasp. Reviewers liked its unique concept and the overall cool vibe, even mentioning it's the kind of game you'd find at a convenience store. Next up is Haruka Sento Butai vs. Force, likely V-Force internationally, a strategy game that gets props for its anime-style visuals comparable to PlayStation and PC games of the time. It's noted as being smooth to play, but the reviewer suggests it could use more Saturn-exclusive features, especially since it came out after the PlayStation version. Lastly, GameWare Volume 5 gets a bit of a harsher critique. It's seen as a step down from previous volumes, with issues in game balance and system designs. Some sections are called out for being low quality or questionable in taste. The reviewer feels like user feedback wasn't really taken into account for this version, and it doesn't show much improvement. The page also continues the reader ranking chart, focusing on games in the BC tier, suggesting these are popular games that are perhaps a bit underrated. Quote, Bones is highlighted again within this ranking as a game worth checking out in that category. Terra Diver, Tsukyu Gurentai, on Saturn, is hailed as a polished masterpiece with no death penalty. The review praises its captivating gameplay, detailed graphics, and smooth controls, making it the hottest shooting game available. It features vertical scrolling in a horizontal screen format, with a dark aesthetic. The game's depth comes from the NALS system, allowing players to choose 3 units with unique targeting mechanics. The developers highlight the story's harsh themes and recommend viewing the ending. Reader comments praise the game's world, direction, humor, and balanced difficulty. The review also includes a section of reader rankings, listing a large number of games and their scores, with Terra Diver being the highlight. This SEGA Saturn magazine page features game reviews and reader contests. The editorial team updates readers on their ongoing work. Reviewed games include Fighter's History Dynamite 5.0, Drawing Skepticism, Daisy Sugar 5.66, praised for its confession aspect and graphics, Rabbit Dukatsu 5.0, with good settings but flawed gameplay, and Teitoku no Ketsudan 2i 6.66, recommended for its strategic depth. The page also includes an odds table for Saturn peripherals, skipped. Reader contests are focused on predicting the rankings of Dukusei 2 and predicting odds for Thunder Force vs. Readers are encouraged to submit game reviews and comments for prizes, including memory cards, joysticks, and games. The page concludes with reader predictions and a special present announcement. This page unveils the early story details for a real robot game. It's for Super Robot Wars F. It seems to be a special report preview, as the game is about 80% complete. We get a glimpse into the game's story through character dialogues, with Ryu mentioning something about a female doctor and a robot engineering conference, while Bright discusses the Getter team and a research institute. A key feature highlighted is the Ideon gauge, which seems to be a unique system for the Ideon unit, affecting its weapon power based on the Ideon's energy level. When the gauge is low, weapon power is reduced, but when it's high, Ideon's weapons become incredibly powerful. The page also details significant changes, particularly to the spirit commands. New commands, effort, and challenge have been added, while search has been removed. Unit upgrades are now extended to 10 stages, up from 7. The luck spirit command has been tweaked and now influences the amount of money you earn in the game. A new spirit command, called Challenge, is introduced with the character Seema, but its exact function is still unclear at this stage. Finally, the game is slated for release on August 29th, priced at 6,800 yen, and it's a simulation RPG for one player. This page continues the preview of Super Robot Wars F, diving into the second scenario and showcasing some of the new units and pilots appearing in the game. The scenario is titled Standing Dark Clouds, and it kicks off with the Lawnbell team tasked with guarding the lunar city Luna 2, finding themselves under attack from within. It seems explosions occur inside the city, and the cause points towards DC remnants and external forces like Gaia, MASH, and Ortega's DC units launching attacks. We get introduced to a range of new playable characters and their mecha. There's Bright Noah piloting the Troy horse, Amuro Ray in the Gundam, Christina McKenzie with the NT-1 Alex, and Bernard Wiseman in the Zaku 2 Kai. The Getter team also joins the fray with Ryoma Nagare in Getter 1, Hayato Jin in Getter 2, and Benkei Kuruma piloting Getter 3. Other units shown are the Gundam MK2 with Emma Sheen, the GP-01FB piloted by Kuraraki, the Methus with F.A. Yufuri, and the Gun Cannon with Hayato Kobayashi. The page emphasizes that Bright no Kawaga will be joining the team from the very beginning, which is highlighted as a key point to watch out for. It also mentions that the Getter Robo team will make an early appearance in this installment. It looks like this scenario sets the stage for a chaotic battle on Luna 2, with familiar faces joining the fight early on. This page continues the Super Robot Wars Fee preview, diving into Scenario 02 called The Stranger. The story unfolds with the Lawnbell team returning to Londinion for supplies when they intercept a distress signal. Upon investigating, they find themselves surrounded by Poseidal forces who declare war on Earth. This scenario introduces some fresh faces to the player's team. Daba Myrode joins piloting the L-Game, M pilots the Dizard, and Kiao also gets to pilot a Dizard. Of course, new enemies are also appearing. You'll be facing off against Nemo Han in the Oj, Mauser in the Bash, and Lander also in a Bash. Enemy units like the Dom 2 and Garbaret Etra are piloted by familiar foes such as Gaia, Mash, Ortega, and Shima. Interestingly, this game changes how you get items. Instead of finding them scattered on the map, items are now obtained by defeating enemies. This includes things like money, experience points, and even unit enhancements, like the example shown here of a round vernier tank part. It looks like items are a reward for battles now. This page focuses on the SEGA Saturn version of Biohazard, Resident Evil, titled Unsolved Mysteries of the Mansion. It offers tips for players, highlighting the well-received port. Key features of the Saturn version include a digest format, new costumes, and monsters. The page emphasizes 4 crucial tips. 1. Prioritize finding save locations. 2. Efficiently utilize item boxes. 3. Conserve ammo and heal regularly. 4. Thoroughly investigate each room for clues and items. The page uses screenshots featuring Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine to illustrate item management and gameplay, encouraging careful exploration and resource management for survival. This page continues the exploration of the mansion in Resident Evil, offering a deeper dive into various rooms and the dangers within. It emphasizes that the mansion is vast and full of threats, hinting that players will need to solve numerous puzzles to progress and uncover all 4 crests needed to advance. The page gives players a room-by-room breakdown, starting with the bar's hidden room. Apparently, solving a small puzzle in the bar and obtaining an emblem will open a secret door. Moving to the terrace, it warns players to be cautious of transformed companions. The plant room showcases aggressive plant-based enemies that guard secrets and puzzles. The hanging ceiling room highlights a dangerous trap where the ceiling can fall. The art room is described as having multiple paintings and a button puzzle, watched over by observant crows. In contrast, the trophy room, linked to a character named Forrest, is noted to be devoid of crows. The exit passage is shown as the path to the guest room, requiring crests to unlock. The armor room features menacing armor statues, some of which are actually monsters. Lastly, the servants' room contains a cryptic message about the sun setting in the west and the moon rising in the east, possibly a clue to a puzzle. Each room description is accompanied by an in-game screenshot to give players a visual guide. The page acts as a primer, preparing players for the diverse challenges and room-specific puzzles they'll face throughout the mansion. The guest house in Resident Evil is a separate research facility, overrun by zombies and containing hidden items and dangerous creatures. Exploration involves solving puzzles, like in the bar, to unlock secret passages. The pharmacy requires mixing ingredients to create medicine, while the Plant 42 room features a giant plant monster vulnerable to flame rounds. Other areas include a basement with a button, the large water tank, and a perilous courtyard path filled with Cerberus and crows. The waterway offers a ladder, and the sprinkler area features a sprinkler. The courtyard basement and bee's nest basement present challenges, including a gate and a dangerous bee's nest. Outside the guest house, players face lickers. The guest house underground is filled with deadly traps. This page details the Research Institute area in Resident Evil, which appears to be the final location after the guest house described on the previous page. It mentions that all mysteries will be revealed here, including the betrayal of companions and the horrifying ambition behind the experiments. The page breaks down different rooms within the facility. The passage is described as narrow and filled with zombies, requiring careful progress. The conference room suggests meetings were held here regarding biological experiments, prompting exploration for clues. The morgue contains bodies and hints at experiments performed, suggesting a search for items. The private room seems to be for researchers, with a poster and items hinting at unethical experiments. Moving on. The laboratory shows a player character controlling a device, suggesting puzzle solving is involved. The power room entrance depicts enemies dropping from above, indicating danger in accessing the power room. Finally, the power room itself shows a computer and mentions an elevator which can be used once power is restored. The page culminates with a section about an ultimate monster developed based on humans, showing a grotesque creature and suggesting a final boss encounter. The text also mentions a switch in a darkened room, offering a choice to turn on the lights, implying a strategic decision point related to the monster. The overall tone is focused on exploration, puzzle solving, and culminating in a confrontation with a powerful, human-derived monster within the Research Institute setting. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn version of Last Bronx and announces that it's reached the final master version, meaning development is complete and the game is ready for release. It's promoting the game by highlighting 3 key development steps, all of which are stated as 100% complete. These steps are ensuring a perfect port from the arcade version, creating original content for the Saturn, and implementing special features. The page mentions that the team has thoroughly checked each step to guarantee quality. We can also see in-game screenshots from Last Bronx and a fun little section called Lasbro Classroom, featuring chibi versions of the characters. The overall tone is celebratory and confident, emphasizing that the Saturn Last Bronx is finished and ready to deliver a great experience. The next page dives deeper into the SEGA Saturn version of Last Bronx, reassuring players it's on track to be an arcade-perfect port. It highlights the dedication to pushing the Saturn's limits, especially in character and background detail. The team focused on recreating the popular characters with high polygon counts and faithfully reproducing background elements with multi-layered scrolling and objects. The page also emphasizes the spectacular reproduction of visual effects like afterimages, weapon effects, and, crucially, shadows, which were added based on user feedback to improve combo execution. They've adjusted these effects to look great on home TVs, ensuring clarity while maintaining the arcade feel. Another key point is the stress-free controls, specifically aerial combos and attack cancels, which are signature Last Bronx mechanics. The team has meticulously tuned the controls to eliminate any differences from the arcade version, addressing player concerns about operability. Furthermore, hidden elements from the arcade game, such as Red Eye mode and secret weapons, will also be included in the Saturn release. An interview with Yoshinobu Abe from Sega AM3 R&D reinforces the commitment to maximizing the Saturn's potential and delivering a satisfying home version of Last Bronx. He mentions the challenges of polygon counts, visual adjustments for TVs, and the team's dedication to mirroring the arcade experience in terms of gameplay and visual fidelity. The Sega Saturn version of Last Bronx offers significant enhancements over the arcade original. A key feature is the adaptive AI of the CPU opponent, which changes its fighting style based on the selected game mode. This necessitates strategic adjustments from the player. Exclusive Saturn modes include Time Attack for speedruns and Saturn mode, a story-driven experience with individual storylines, unique boss battles, and randomized boss order. Watch mode allows players to study CPU versus CPU matches to learn advanced techniques, aided by the AI's mode-specific adaptability. The article also highlights the importance of the attack cancel technique and features animated movies showcasing the fast-paced action, accompanied by the theme song. An interview with SEGA AM3 R&D reveals the inclusion of user-requested features like shadows and details, the challenges of adapting the visuals for home consoles. It also confirms ending movies within Saturn mode, adjustable difficulty for Time Attack, and the arcade-style nature of survival mode for multiplayer enjoyment. Last Bronx on SEGA Saturn features 2 modes aimed at beginners. The Resubro Dojo offers structured lessons across beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels, focusing on practical techniques and skill improvement. The Resubro Classroom provides detailed system tutorials covering offense, defense, special moves, and advanced techniques, with instruction from 9 teachers, boasting over 70 teacher-helper combinations for varied lessons. The developers emphasize the Saturn mode as a gift, encouraging newcomers to try it. They highlight the detailed content and the intention to create an enjoyable home experience, including a 2-player setup. They express satisfaction with the result, believing it will be accessible and satisfying for both new and existing fans of fighting games. This page is a special report, and it's all about Culdicept, a brand new card-based board game coming to the SEGA Saturn. This game is set in a vast fantasy world and lets you wield magical cards in strategic battles. Developed by Sega and Omiya Soft, it's currently 60% complete and aimed for an October 1997 release, with the price still to be decided, and supporting 1 to 4 players. The article emphasizes that it is a new type of game, blending board game strategy with fantasy card battles against the CPU or other players. There are 3 main types of cards. Creature cards. These are the monsters you use to occupy territories on the game board. Item cards. These are used during creature battles to enhance your creature's abilities or damage opponents. And spell cards. These can directly impact players or creatures even at a distance, allowing for things like direct damage or even removing negative effects from your lands. The screenshots illustrate gameplay and examples of these card types. You can also see a book editing section, which is certainly about building your deck of cards before you start playing. Culdicept looks to be a really interesting and unique mix of board game and card game mechanics. This page delves deeper into the gameplay of Culdicept, highlighting that it's more than just rolling dice. The core action involves moving your player based on dice rolls and claiming territories you land on. To claim a territory, you need to summon a creature card onto it. If another player already controls that territory, you can engage in creature battles to take it over. Of course, you'll need creature cards in hand to do this. The article then explains that each territory on the map has an elemental attribute: fire, water, earth, or wind. There are also neutral territories with no element. These attributes are crucial because they affect creature stats and abilities in battles. Owning multiple territories with the same attribute grants bonuses, making territorial control strategically important. Finally, it introduces the territory command, accessible when you land on your own land, checkpoints, or castles. This command offers strategic options like changing a territory's attribute to match your creatures, or to exploit elemental weaknesses. You can also level up your territories using this command. Leveling up increases the toll other players pay when they land on your territory, and also boosts the magic you gain from it. The page emphasizes that mastering these territory commands and attribute manipulation is key to strategic depth in Culdicept. In Culdicept, spells are represented by cards collected in a book of 50 cards, which players use to build their hand during gameplay. Books are customizable, allowing players to add, remove, and incorporate new cards earned by winning matches. Winning battles and receiving prize cards, including rare and powerful ones, is crucial for expanding your collection. The game features over 300 different cards, adding a strong element of collecting and strategy. Players can hold up to 6 cards at a time. While powerful cards are beneficial, relying solely on them has drawbacks. Trading cards with friends is also possible. The diverse card illustrations and powerful magic effect cards encourage collecting and strategic deck building. The single-player mode features a board game structure, where players roll dice to claim territory and collect money to reach a target amount, varying by map and difficulty. Efficient territory control and spell use are key. Players navigate checkpoints and must return to their castle after hitting the target. The game introduces 4 unique CPU opponents. Zenith, a rival, lost his kingdom. Sibachan, a caring boy, is connected to a world-saving creature. Cortegu, a powerful being, is destined to be king. Gorlagan, a talking axe, serves as the player's companion. These characters promise a story-driven experience with diverse challenges, each with a unique backstory and likely playstyle. This page highlights the Saturn version of Slayers Royale, announcing a special appearance of characters from the movie Slayers Return. It's reported as a special feature, published by Kadokawa Shoten/Especially, and scheduled for release on July 25th. Priced at 6,300 yen. The game is classified as a 3D RPG, suitable for all ages, and is for one player. The page reveals that Galef, a powerful enemy from the Slayers Return movie, will be making an unexpected appearance in Slayers Royale, not just as a side character, but as a significant enemy within the storyline. The article hints at a confrontation involving Zods, questioning his motives and goals. Screenshots showcase in-game scenes, featuring familiar characters like Lena Inverse and Naga the Serpent, suggesting an engaging story and strategic battles. The reviewer seems excited about this new development, and is eagerly anticipating the release date. The Slayers Royale page details a conflict involving Galef, a villain from Slayers Return, and the heroes. Galef, leader of the Secret Society Twin, is a tyrannical father with world domination aspirations and a demon army, though his stinginess makes him unpopular. Limina and her companions are tracking Galef, whose presence has brought chaos, including the release of demons. Galef, in turn, is offering a bounty for Limina's capture. The article showcases in-game dialogue and battles, including Amelia seemingly siding with Galef. The pursuit is becoming more challenging due to Galef's underhanded tactics. A topic section also promotes the upcoming Slayers Great movie, promising comedic chaos with Lena and Naga. This page dives into the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Ankh, The Mystery of Tutankhamun, featuring an interview with the renowned Egyptologist Professor Sakuji Yoshimura of Waseda University, who is acting as the game's general producer. Professor Yoshimura explains his passion for Egyptology, and his belief that games are the perfect medium to introduce its wonders to a broad audience, from kids to adults. He humorously admits to being a fan of games since his student days, and sees them as an engaging way to spark interest in his field, especially as attracting fans and supporters is vital for any research, comparing it to marathon runners needing crowd support. He touches upon how he utilizes cutting-edge technology like satellite imagery in his archaeological work, emphasizing the importance of observation and timing in making discoveries. He even jokes about hints in life and how crucial it is to seize opportunities. The special report section confirms the game, simply titled Ankh, is an adventure title for the SEGA Saturn Ray platform, priced at 6,800 yen and coming on 2 discs, with a release date of November 6th. It seems like they are really pushing the educational and adventurous aspects of Egyptian history with this title. This page continues the deep dive into Ankh, The Mystery of Tutankhamun, where Professor Yoshimura further expresses his enthusiasm for the game as a medium to bring archaeology to a wider audience. He mentions his initial doubts but now sees the potential, even drawing parallels between using satellite imagery in his research and the game development process. He jokes about the real cost of archaeology, contrasting it with the game's more accessible expense of 6,800 yen for 2 discs. The page highlights the game's core concept, a virtual experience of Egyptian excavation. Ankh is described as an adventure game that blends real photographs and CG movies, emphasizing dialogue with characters, item discovery, and puzzle solving within ancient ruins, all grounded in Professor Yoshimura's archaeological theories. The article also shows screenshots illustrating the game's user interface, pointing out features like the current location display, item display screen, direction indicator, and navigator window. The game's story is teased, revealing a player character invited to Egypt by Professor Yoshimura, who becomes entangled in mysterious events and dreams, embarking on a quest to unravel a destiny spanning 300 years. Gameplay involves conversations, item hunts, and solving ancient mysteries based on real archaeological concepts. This page is all about Rockman X4, which we know as Mega Man X4 internationally, showcasing it as a major title for the Sega Saturn. It highlights the game's features, especially the Ultimate Armor and Ride Armor from Mega Man X. The article mentions that X4 is a limited edition, limited pack release. The page details that within the game, players can find the Ultimate Armor, emphasizing its powerful capabilities. It also introduces Ride Armor, which players can freely hop in and out of during the 8 stages. When using Ride Armor, players are immune to damage from enemies and have increased attack power. The article teases the 8 stages of the game, mentioning that the beginning of each stage features unique actions, culminating in a boss encounter at the end, a familiar structure for Mega Man games. A specific stage, Marine Base, is previewed, describing it as a fast-paced stage where Repliforce attacks a city and X rides in a Dion airbike to chase after them, dodging obstacles and defeating enemies with airbike attacks. There's also a quote from the boss character Bistre Leo, exclaiming about someone disturbing his subordinates. Finally, it gives details that Capcom is releasing the game on August 1st, priced at 5,800 yen for the standard action game, and 6,800 yen for the special limited pack that includes the Mega Armor. Mega Man X4 features Ride Armor, with 2 types highlighted. The Gatling-type Raiden, built for ground combat with an electromagnetic blade, and the Air Combat type Eagle, specializing in aerial combat and energy weapons. The game features diverse stages. Volcano presents unstable magma. Snowbase offers icy hazards. Biological Laboratory is a dangerous, abandoned lab. Air Force involves Repliforce battleships. Jungle houses guerrilla units and traps. Cyberspace is a network stage with a changing layout, and Military Train takes place on a moving train with laser cannons. Each stage presents unique challenges and objectives. This page delves into Let's Make J.League Pro Soccer Club 2, highlighting it as roughly halfway through development. The headline suggests excitement from the press, emphasizing improvements in the game flow. It seems they're focusing on the game's structure, from schedule management to match day, and post-match analysis. Schedule management is described as fundamentally unchanged from the first game, where the secretary handles major match scheduling, requiring players to focus on team characteristics. However, pre-match strategy now has added depth. The interview with developers Wada Akihito and Ohashi Osamu touches on emotional expressions during matches, potentially influencing the game's momentum. They discuss how showing emotions like anger or composure might impact gameplay. One developer notes that observing the game quietly is the base approach. They hint that this new system will allow players to scold or praise their team depending on the situation, further affecting the team as a whole and individual players. Ohashi mentions that he enjoys fishing in his free time. The overall tone is positive, pointing towards strategic depth and enhanced emotional engagement in Let's Make J.League Pro Soccer Club 2. Let's Make J.League Pro Soccer Club 2 introduces significant enhancements. A key addition is the ability for managers to express emotions like calmness or anger during matches, directly impacting team morale and strategy. Stadium improvements are also emphasized, with the goal of increasing capacity and keeping fans engaged. The core coaching gameplay remains, now allowing for in-game emotional expression. Post-match news provides crucial insights for strategic planning. Developers highlight the effectiveness of the new emotion system and the ability to change in-match instructions. They also hint at upcoming features like player editing. These updates aim to deepen strategic gameplay and enhance player engagement. The next page showcases a special interview titled, Sixth Eye Start, Hajime and Miyuki Special Interview, for the Sega Saturn game, Kindaichi Case Files, The Phantom of the Star Viewing Island. This feature includes voice actors Kusao Takeshi, voicing Kindaichi, and Izuka Mayumi, voicing Nanase Miyuki. The interview delves into their experiences and perspectives. Kusao mentions feeling pressured to play Kindaichi well. They discuss past collaborations in a radio drama where Kusao's character was deceived, contrasting with their roles in this game as close friends. Kusao expresses his personality as cautious and hesitant to believe compliments, while Izuka shares her views on relationships, stating she prefers decisive men and struggles to express her feelings, often hoping others will notice her feelings without her saying them directly. She also jokes about freezing up when she is in front of someone she likes. The page also includes character art of Kindaichi and Miyuki, along with a picture of Izuka Mayumi. There are promotional details indicating the game is an adventure title from Hudson, scheduled for release in autumn '97, and it's a single-player game. Voice actor Kusao Takeshi, the voice of Kindaichi, describes his acting approach as deeply immersive. He acts with his cells, drawing on a wealth of information to fully embody the character through vocal expression. He utilizes cellular memory to access and recreate past physical states, allowing for nuanced emotional portrayals. The interview highlights a challenging recording experience, with Izuka recounting a difficult scene from another work. Kusao, recording alone, needed to anticipate other actors' responses. The article also includes a giveaway, interviewer notes, showcasing the actor's professionalism and intensity, and a message to fans. The message expresses excitement about the in-game portrayal of Kindaichi and Miyuki, seeking player feedback. This sound novel adventure game flips the script, placing players in the role of a criminal mastermind attempting to outwit the legendary detective Kindaichi. The game begins with a dramatic prologue involving idol Yui Nanao and her manager's suicide, setting the stage for a revenge plot. Players gather information, make critical choices affecting the story, and interact with familiar characters like Miyuki and Hayami Reika. Gameplay revolves around conversations and keyword selection, emphasizing careful data gathering to avoid missteps and harming innocents. Tough decisions about uncovering traps force players to rely on their judgment. The game features anime-style cutscenes with Kindaichi and Miyuki, enhancing the narrative. A glimpse into the prologue reveals a seemingly lighthearted exchange that hints at the darker events to come. This title offers a fresh perspective on the Kindaichi universe, allowing players to experience the suspense of a crime from the antagonist's point of view. This page showcases the characters involved in this intriguing Kindaichi game, where you play as the criminal. The main character is Takuya Asagi, an event producer and the fiancé of the murdered idol Yui Nanao. Driven by revenge, he's the player character. We see familiar faces like the brilliant detective Kindaichi, described as a genius with an IQ of 180, and Miyuki Nanase, Kindaichi's partner, known for her broad knowledge and support of Hajime. Other characters highlighted include Reika Hayami, the super idol who is a rival to Miyuki, Maho Tachibana, a classmate of Hajime and Miyuki, Nao Katsuragi, a fallen idol caught in a scandal, Michiru Kiyosumi, another idol who rises to fame after Nao's downfall, Kenmochi Isamu, the hot-blooded detective, and Ryosuke Itsuki, a freelance writer familiar to fans of the original series. The page emphasizes that many characters are involved, and some might show unexpected sides depending on your actions. It also touches upon the game's concept of reversed thinking, creating a new genre, where you, as the criminal, have to outsmart Kindaichi. There's mention of real mode for heightened tension, and even bad endings, with advice from classic villains, hinting at the depth and complexity of the game's narrative and player choices. This page is all about the release of the game Real Sound. Kaz No Regret. It's being presented as a really big deal, calling it the latest work from a master creator who will leave a huge mark on gaming history. The game is an interactive sound drama, meaning it's all about sound and no visuals, which is quite a unique approach. It was released on July 18, 1997, and costs 6,400 yen. It comes on 4 discs and includes some kind of bonus for the first edition buyers. The page emphasizes that Real Sound is about experiencing something beyond just visuals, and they interviewed the producer and scenario director, Ino Kenji, to talk about it. There's a big message saying, "Release today!" to really highlight the launch. In an interview section, Ino Kenji seems happy about the release, saying, "Yay, it's released!" with a laugh. He mentions that unlike his previous game Enemy Zero, this one doesn't have combat, and he encourages players to just enjoy the story and reach the ending. He jokingly hopes people who are planning to buy it will get it quickly, and even those who weren't should consider picking it up. Interestingly, the page also notes that this game seems to be popular with female players, with a high percentage of pre-orders coming from women. It even suggests checking convenience stores if shops sell out, and recommends getting the first edition quickly before it becomes unavailable. Ino Kenji expresses joy and relief over the release of Real Sound, a project born from initial rejection. Despite being advised to create a standard RPG and facing financial struggles in the first production run, Ino found validation in the positive user response. He believes users were the first to truly understand and appreciate the game, a sentiment he finds deeply rewarding. He acknowledges the financial challenges but considers the creation of a game without visuals a significant achievement. Igano is confident in the game's word-of-mouth appeal and its ability to drive sales. He is slightly worried about running out of stock and is hopeful for a quick reprint. He ends by saying that the positive user feedback is encouraging and enjoyable. Ino Kenji anticipates user feedback for real sound, curious about player interactions within the game. He humorously acknowledges the potential unfamiliarity of his collaborator, Ida Kazunari. Ino encourages players to introduce the game to non-gamers, particularly family, hoping it fosters conversation. He expresses disappointment with the initial low sales and rainy release date, and hints at financial pressures due to production costs. The focus of real sound centers on sound effects, with music being a major concern due to the complexity and lengthy development time. Ino also reveals plans for an RPG project, hoping to collaborate with SEGA. An advertisement promotes a real sound harp photo and image illustration contest. Players can enter by growing included harp seeds, photographing the flower, and submitting game impressions. Winners, judged by Ameno, will receive original goods. Entries must be sent to the specified warp address. This page delves into the gameplay of Chaos Seed, Dragon War of the Cave Palace. Picking up from previous articles that discuss scenarios and room types, this guide explains how to actually play. The game begins with the land in ruins, and your role as a cave hermit, essentially an egg at the start, is to revitalize it. The first step is building your cave palace by digging rooms. These rooms are essential and have various functions for restoring the desolate land. Once you've dug rooms, you can then enhance them, making them more powerful. Enhancement requires sendan, which seem to be mystical pills or elixirs. Strengthening your rooms and managing your cave palace effectively is key to progressing through the game. The article highlights a few important room types, such as production rooms to generate energy, refining rooms to create sendans, and summoning rooms to call forth mythical creatures. Utilizing energy and sendan to operate and enhance these rooms is the foundation of gameplay. The page also teases a Cave Hermit Diary feature and promises more about the game on the next page, with illustrations by Funaoka Akira. This article is all about getting players started with Chaos Seed, focusing on room construction, enhancement, and resource management as the core gameplay loop. This page continues the explanation of Chaos Seed, Dragon War of the Cave Palace gameplay, focusing on enemy invasions and scenario characters. As your cave palace grows, enemies will start invading. These enemies are triggered by the land being restored and people noticing your growing palace, sending soldiers to attack. To fight them off, you'll use flying sky stones, which seem to be key points to initiate defense. Defeating these enemies is crucial as it ties into progressing the game and the Cave Hermit's tasks. The page highlights scenario characters too, with a section about Reiren. Reiren is described as a scenario character who appears during events, especially those directly related to the Cave Hermit, triggering specific scenarios. Another section, Denken Invasion, mentions scenario characters involved in invasion events, battles and conflicts related to Dragon's Den furnaces. Denken is highlighted as one of these characters. There's also a Cave Hermit Diary manga section, a lighthearted comic strip featuring the game's characters and themes, showing the hermit digging and building a underground my homeroom and discussing the important and noble nature of the work. The manga adds a bit of humor and character to the game's world. The gameplay tips for Chaos Seed focus on land revival. Method A involves channeling energy into Dragon Cave furnaces to restore the environment. Method B requires removing the cause of the land's weakness, such as defeating monsters like yokai that drain energy. The game utilizes a scenario-based structure. Each completed scenario offers an ending, and these seemingly independent stories collectively unveil a larger narrative. The true ending is unlocked upon clearing all scenarios. A dungeon journal section includes reader submissions. One reader, Watanabe Hiroko, enjoys the SFC version and expresses fondness for Shining Force's Alex. Cute manga panels featuring game characters are also included, depicting scenarios like a character gifting a peach and the old master designing dungeons. This page showcases the game's Soviet strike, focusing on the crisis in Eurasia after the collapse of the Soviet Union. The game's premise revolves around stopping an evil organization aiming for world domination. You pilot a Super Apache combat helicopter and undertake missions across various locations like Crimea, the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, Transylvania, and even Moscow. The page emphasizes the game's engaging story, suggesting it's so captivating, it makes the somewhat stereotypical Soviet strike title almost irrelevant. Gameplay involves piloting a helicopter with self-repair capabilities, and the missions include rescue, resupply, destruction, and support. You can equip your helicopter with 3 types of weapons with varying range and power, customize it with wing attachments, and collect items and even people on the ground using a winch. The page highlights the dynamic polygon-based terrains, detailed enemy units, and smooth scrolling for an immersive experience, comparing the intense action to the TV show Airwolf. It also humorously notes that the game is easy enough even for girls to play, though maybe not for everyone. The article encourages players to appreciate the detailed world and enjoy the sightseeing aspect while completing missions. Soviet Strike emphasizes strategic gameplay beyond simple combat. Players must adapt to changing battlefield conditions, considering mission objectives like rescuing personnel. Resource management, especially fuel, is critical, demanding planned flight routes and item pickups. In-game communication via radio and strategic maps guide players and update objectives. The review praises the game as a strong installment in the Strike series, building on Desert Strike's foundation with improved controls and battlefield immersion. The game's effective balance of challenge and engagement is highlighted. Soviet Strike is scheduled for a September release, priced at 5,800 yen, and is a one-player game. This page showcases the Super Robot Wars F Support Campaign Volume 12, filled with reader contributions. The content is organized thematically, with sections dedicated to different aspects of the game. Power Off features humorous comics about mecha. Lucky provides a Q&A, explaining the origin of Masaki's catchphrase as an inside joke. Passionate presents fan ideas, including an illustration of Shinji and Doman. Spirited displays fan art, including Heyman Karn and other male characters. Finally, a postcard recruitment section encourages reader submissions for future volumes. The page highlights active fan engagement and community involvement within the Super Robot Wars Fine universe. This page is an interview segment titled Hearing from That Person, and this time, it's the second installment. The guest for this issue is Encho Sanyute, identified as a Rakugo storyteller. The interview is framed around the theme of talking about Xanadu, likely referring to the classic action RPG Xanadu. The interviewer and Sanyute discuss his experience as a gamer since the 8-bit computer era and how he was considered a charismatic figure among Game Boys back then, even writing columns about games for TV and magazines. He's still an avid gamer now, and they're focusing on his thoughts about Xanadu. Sanyute mentions that Xanadu for the Saturn is a compilation of Xanadu, Dragon Slayer, and YS. He admits he doesn't own a Saturn, but has a PlayStation and PC engine, and is looking forward to playing Xanadu on Saturn. He talks about how, in the past, game consoles were expensive, but now Saturns are more affordable. He expresses his fondness for Xanadu, calling it a great game. They discuss the difficulty level of Xanadu, with Sanyute recalling it being quite challenging, especially the Silver Dragon boss at the end. He mentions playing the original Xanadu on the FM7 computer and playing it through multiple times. The interview also touches on the Falcom Classics version of Xanadu on Saturn, highlighting the original mode and the Saturn mode with a ranged difficulty. They wrap up discussing how he wants to play the Saturn version to confirm his memories of the game. This page continues the interview with Rakugo storyteller Enko Sanyute, still focused on his thoughts about Xanadu and RPGs in general. Sanyute expresses his belief that simple, straightforward game design is key to enjoyment, particularly in RPGs where the core appeal is defeating enemies and becoming stronger. He mentions that overly complex games can be frustrating and unsatisfying. He enjoys games that allow for skilled play, like finding hidden techniques to shorten playtime, recalling he beat Xanadu in 30 hours initially, but later found tricks to finish it in around 4 hours. Sanyute also touches upon what makes a game like Xanadu enjoyable for him, emphasizing that while beautiful graphics and sound are nice, solid game rules are essential. He feels that games should have a proper ending, and that evaluating a game is pointless if you don't play it to completion. The page also advertises Falcom Classics, described as an RPG collection featuring Xanadu and packaged as a single title. It's promoted as a great value purchase, being newly released in Saturn format, with a planned release in November '97. It mentions limited and regular editions, with the limited edition including character materials and special discs. There is also a small section highlighting Sabash 1 and 2, another RPG title, mentioning it's a full-fledged RPG developed by game enthusiast staff, with scenarios and original work by a teacher. The image shows the box art for Sabash. Rakugo storyteller Enko Sanyute, in an interview, discusses the games Dragon Slayer and Xanadu, which he enjoyed. He praises the logos, attributing their creation to Falcom's president and design staff. He feels obligated to play RPGs like these, viewing it as a duty. The page then highlights legendary RPG, 3 titles that dominate Saturn: Dragon Slayer, Xanadu, and YS. Dragon Slayer, 1984, emphasized freedom, mixing combat and puzzles. Xanadu, 1985, a PC hit, featured unique mechanics like level-based pricing and dungeon exploration. YS, 1987, is described as having a captivating story and emotional depth, balanced for accessibility. The interview concludes with a photo of Sanyute and a humorous comment about shaving. This page presents a concept for Falcom Classics 2 on SEGA Saturn, prompting readers to vote for which classic Falcom games they'd love to see ported. It highlights that while Falcom Classics featured 3 well-known titles, Falcom has many other excellent games. The magazine is gauging reader interest by asking them to suggest titles they'd want in a sequel, emphasizing they'll share the results with both Victor and Falcoms. The page then lists nominated titles from 1984 to 1994. These include titles like Aztec, Xanadu, Scenario 2, Romancia, Temple of the Sun, Aztec 2, Sorcerian, YS2, Start Trader, Wanderers from YS, Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes, Dinosaur, Lord Monarch, Brandish, Advanced Lord Monarch, Popplemail, Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes 2, Brandish 2, Brandish 3, and The Legend of Heroes 2-1, White Witch. Screenshots are shown for Romancia and Temple of the Sun. The page concludes with a call to action, encouraging readers to send in postcards with their game choices, along with their memories and reasons for wanting specific titles. They ask for personal details, like address and phone number, to be included, and mention the results will be published in the magazine. This page is all about gamer health, titled Gamers 110th, which is like saying it's an emergency call for gamers' well-being. It's giving out know-how for creating a comfortable game environment and staying healthy while gaming. The page uses funny illustrations to show common gamer ailments. You've got eye strain, with a poor guy rubbing his eyes, and another with a needle and basket of oranges nearby, maybe for vitamins. Then there's back pain with a bent-over character, stiff shoulders where someone's massaging their neck, and headache with a pounding head. There are other quirky ones like no mouth, showing a character with a sword in their mouth, cat posture, and round body, plus 2 sluggish body illustrations, one labeled small and one large. The last one is doesn't listen to stories, showing someone asleep while someone else is talking. The text talks about how much everyone loves games, but admits life gets in the way with work and school. It points out that gamers often push themselves too hard, especially with long RPG sessions, and can neglect their health as a result. This article aims to help prevent health problems. It suggests not to give up gaming altogether, but to find ways to balance it with a healthier lifestyle, and encourages readers to take small steps towards better health, starting with what they can manage. This page discusses eye strain and dry eye in gamers. Gamers are prone to eye problems and should watch for symptoms like heavy, itchy, or gritty eyes, blurry vision, headaches, and dizziness. Individuals using glasses or contacts need extra care, as their eyes may be more susceptible to strain. Ensure your prescription is current, and practice proper contact lens hygiene. Gaming can cause eye strain due to screen flicker, bright colors, and prolonged focus. Long gaming sessions decrease blinking, leading to dry eyes, especially in dry environments. Reduced blinking leads to a dry eye surface, which can cause discomfort. To combat these issues, use eye drops, artificial tears, get regular eye exams, eat a balanced diet, and consider vitamin supplementation. To protect gamers' vision from eye strain and dryness, avoid rubbing or pushing eyes. Maintain a distance of at least 1 meter from the screen, and ensure the room is brighter than the monitor. Take 10-minute breaks every hour, focusing on distant objects. Avoid washing eyes, especially in pools or the ocean. Use artificial tears for dry eyes, and avoid vasoconstrictor eye drops. Eye care professionals advise conscious blinking, 10 to 20 blinks per minute, to combat dryness caused by prolonged screen focus, which reduces blinking. Gaming can contribute to nearsightedness in children and vision problems in adults. Parents should limit children's gaming and ensure good posture and screen filters are used. Shoulder and back pain is a prevalent issue for gamers, particularly in Japan. The text identifies 10 dangerous signs to watch out for, including stiff shoulders, back pain, and prolonged gaming sessions. Ignoring these signs due to youth is a mistake. The pain results from unnatural postures, prolonged sitting, stress, and lifestyle factors. Bad posture during gaming, such as slouching, strains neck, shoulder, back, and lower back muscles, disrupting bone balance, and potentially impacting internal organs. The pain mechanism involves restricted blood flow due to poor posture, leading to waste product buildup. This buildup, creating pain substances, causes discomfort. The article emphasizes that this mechanism affects gamers of all ages. Understanding these factors is crucial for long-term gaming enjoyment. Gamers often experience shoulder and back pain, which this information aims to address. The key strategies involve frequent breaks with stretching every 30 minutes to combat stiffness. Fresh air and avoiding excessive air conditioning are also recommended. Furthermore, warm baths can improve blood flow and aid muscle recovery. Finally, the text introduces acupressure, specifically foot reflexology, offering a diagram and table to identify and stimulate specific foot zones for relief from various ailments like shoulder pain, headaches, and eye strain. Expert advice from Dr. Abe Satoshi reinforces these points, emphasizing the need for moderate rest and incorporating stretches. He advises against smoking and excessive caffeine, while suggesting moderate alcohol consumption might be preferable. He concludes by encouraging gamers to understand their bodies better through foot acupressure. This page continues the health theme, this time focusing on stress and how it affects gamers. It highlights that while gaming might seem like stress relief, it can actually be a source of stress if not managed properly. The page starts by listing 10 dangerous signals indicating you might be experiencing stress, such as headaches, stiff shoulders, fatigue, eye strain, heart palpitations, ringing in the ears, poor sleep, irritability, numb hands, and dizziness. It then discusses how game stress is not healing and argues that competitive games, especially computer games where winning and losing are emphasized, can lead to accumulated stress rather than relief. It also notes that stress can contribute to obesity and eating habits. The page explains the mechanism of stress with an illustration of an overwhelmed gamer. It details how excessive gaming can disrupt the balance of the autonomic nervous system, specifically the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. It explains that these two nerves, responsible for fight or flight and rest and digest responses respectively, become imbalanced due to prolonged stress, impacting overall health and well-being. The page uses simple illustrations of a running muscle and a relaxed moon to represent the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. The text concludes by saying that excessive stress can even affect memory by impacting steroid hormones and the hippocampus in the brain. This page focuses on stress countermeasures for gamers, offering practical solutions. Firstly, it advises gamers to avoid coffee and tobacco, pointing out that caffeine and nicotine can worsen stress by constricting blood vessels. Next, it introduces the rainbow breathing method, a relaxation technique involving diaphragmatic breathing combined with visualizing rainbow colors to enhance relaxation. The page then stresses the importance of guilt-free gaming, suggesting gamers should allocate specific times to fully enjoy their hobby without feeling conflicted or stressed about other responsibilities. Aromatherapy is proposed as a way to refresh and enrich the gaming environment, engaging senses beyond just sight and sound, suggesting that stimulating smell and taste can enhance the gaming experience. Finally, expert advice from Dr. Abe emphasizes activating the parasympathetic nervous system to combat stress. He highlights that TV screens can trigger seizures in some individuals due to light stimulation, and recommends relaxation techniques, such as guided imagery, to switch off the mind's computer and promote relaxation, seeing gaming itself as a potential relaxation medium. This page offers self-healing tools for gamers to recover from intense gaming sessions. The body care section features acupressure gloves and socks, 2,000 yen each, targeting pressure points, alongside foot relaxers like the foot relaxer Genki-kun, 2,500 yen, and the Happy Massage Dolphin, 1,900 yen. Bath to Relax suggests bath products for unwinding, including bubble bath and body shampoo, 950 yen, aromatherapy bath bubbles like Brambly Hedge Lemon Scent, 350 yen, and options such as Mentholatum Bath de Aroma, 650 yen, for fatigue relief, and Fin de Siècle Woody Bath, 180 yen. Finally, Eye Relief recommends the Nemiru Stella Eye Mask, 1,500 yen, and the Eye Pillow, 1,950 yen, with lavender mint scent, to promote relaxation and comfortable sleep. The overall aim is to provide affordable items to help gamers de-stress and take care of their well-being. This page focuses on aromatherapy as a method of relaxation and mental care for gamers. Continuing the theme of self-care from the previous page, it introduces various aromatherapy products starting with aroma pots and mini aroma lights, explaining how they can be used to diffuse scents and create a relaxing atmosphere. Moving on to essential oils. The page lists several types, like rosemary, peppermint, bergamot, and lavender, each with a price of around 1,000 yen to 2,000 yen. These are categorized by their effects, such as for when you're feeling angry, stressed, sleepless, or want to relax, and also for when you're feeling down, tired, or want to refresh. There are also oils for improving memory, relieving fatigue, and enhancing focus. Other items include a pseudo stick, which is an inhaler stick for quick refreshment, and elephant balm, described as a unique aromatherapy balm where part of the sales goes to elephant protection. For sound therapy, the page suggests listening to calming sounds after gaming, recommending seeds like Oyasumi Maid and Nemuri, which seem to be relaxation or sleep-themed sound collections. There's also a perfume decoder, which looks like a tool for creating custom scent blends. Finally, the page features a recommendation from a staff member at the Tokyu Hands Ikebukuro store, highlighting aromatherapy oils as a great way for beginners to start with aromatherapy. It also asks for reader feedback on the special feature and lists references at the bottom. This page is an advertisement for Sakura Wars merchandise, highlighting a Sakura Wars activity photo collection book, which is currently popular. This book is described as a film book that thoroughly covers memorable scenes from the game and includes dialogue. It's a B5 size, 144-page book, priced at 1,200 yen. There are also adverts for other Sakura Wars-related items, such as the Imperial Assault Force Secret File, priced at 1,437 yen, the original picture and setting material collection, priced at 1,942 yen, and the Flower Troop Counterattack Official Guide, priced at 933 yen, all of which are also currently selling well. Finally, there's a mention of a SEGA Saturn Magazine Photo CD Maniac Collection Volume 1. This keydrum contains a large collection of unreleased character and mecha design materials, CG images, and more, compatible with SEGA Saturn, Windows, Macintosh, 3DO, and PC/FX. It also features unreleased CG images and is described as requiring a separately sold SEGA Saturn Photo CD operator or twin operator for playback on SEGA Saturn and V Saturn. This reader submission page covers various topics. Games of the Week discusses Watermelon's nutritional value and wonders about the Princess Crown abbreviation. Another reader shares their horror playing zombie games. This week features postcard submissions, including a language lesson, and mentions of games like Marumenko. Recent Games highlights the Tamagotchi craze. In arcade games, a reader seeks interesting arcade game recommendations and is advised to try Ancient Legend Spell 100 Tales. News items. Humorously discusses panty shots in a magazine. Friends details a wedding featuring Virtua Fighter, 2 battles, and a grand atmosphere. Finally, Volume recounts a strange dream, Sonic-themed cocktails, and a psychological quiz. This page features reader submissions themed around expressing passionate feelings for game characters. The page is titled Shrank Love Letter and encourages readers to write about their intense feelings for game characters during the summer gaming season. The first section is dedicated to Oscar from the Angelique series, where a reader hilariously describes how their love for Oscar distracts them even in class. Another submission is for an unnamed character, described as a cool and strong female pilot in a game involving destroying planets and aliens asking if the character escapes the exploding planet. Then there's a section for Nagi from Last Bronx, where a reader praises her cool demeanor and fighting style. Moving on, there's a submission dedicated to Kyo Kusanagi from the King of Fighters series, recounting a reader's encounter with Kyo's cool winning pose and expressing excitement for KOF 97. Finally, there's a girls' chatter corner, which seems to be a section for general discussion among female readers, touching on topics like fashion, favorite drinks like fruit shakes or Lotteria shakes, and ice cream flavors, mentioning chocolate cookie as the best. The right side of the page features sections titled Ronde less than heart greater than Rond, with reader art and comments, seemingly celebrating a character named Rond, possibly from a game. One reader apologizes for assuming Ronde was like Ken from Street Zero, and another describes a dream involving Jack Frost from the Shin Megami Tensei series. The Dream Access Conference is filled with reader submissions. For the Lost Lamb's Sake details a failed prank involving Tokimeki Memorial. Blood Relation Game Party highlights a reader's victory in Virtua Fighter against their sister. This kind of fighting game is a yada. Critiques fighting games, citing dislikes like overly serious plots, generic beautiful girl characters, confusing flashy moves, and lack of progression. Good games! Praises Lunar Silver Star Story on the Saturn, emphasizing its immersive quality. The conference also includes humorous reader art in Don't Regret President, Temporary, and a list of prize winners from the SEGA Saturn magazine. This page showcases the Dream Museum, a section dedicated to reader submissions, highlighting some of the best artwork and creative entries. The top Best One of the Week spot is awarded to an impressive Silhouette Mirage artwork piece. Moving along, we see other reader submissions, like one featuring a girl and another with Sonic the Hedgehog in the This Is Cool section. There's also a Canna Prize awarded for another submission depicting a girl celebrated for its mysterious atmosphere and beautiful dark hair. Another submission appears to be inspired by Evangelion 2. The program information section details the submission guidelines, mentioning points awarded for different categories such as Dream Boyfriends, Dream Games, and more. It also explains how to send in submissions, emphasizing the need to include address, name, pen name, and desired game. Finally, there's a Don't Miss the Last Minute announcement panel providing the address for sending in submissions to SEGA Saturn Magazine, care of the DPA department. This page is a sales advertisement from the retailer Santa, showcasing a wide range of SEGA games and consoles available through mail order. They've got a massive selection of software for Saturn, Mega Drive, Mega CD, 32X, and even Game Gear. For Saturn, they are advertising new titles like Silhouette Mirage, Doom, Thunder Force V, and Guardian Heroes, among a huge list of other games with prices, and some even have release dates listed. They also list a wide variety of Saturn peripherals. Mega Drive games on offer include classics like Echo the Dolphin, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Streets of Rage 2. There are also Mega CD titles, 32X games like Star Wars, 32X, and Game Gear games listed. The advert details how to order via phone or fax, payment options including cash on delivery or bank transfer, and shipping costs, which are 400 yen, with extra charges for certain regions. It's a comprehensive catalog for SEGA fans looking to expand their collection back in the day. This page is all about the latest SEGA Saturn scoop from SEGA themselves. It's volume 41 of SEGA Press, diving into the Last Bronx commercial concept. Apparently this commercial is a two-part affair and aims to capture the game's world, focusing on a nighttime urban setting with a documentary feel. They're really emphasizing the cool factor and fashion of the game, urging players to check it out when it airs from July 19th. There's a section promoting Sega Fax Club, which is like a Sega news service by fax, and Sega Joy Joy Telephone, a phone service updated weekly with the latest info. They also mention Sega Video Magazine, highlighting the August issue which will feature Virus, Nantoyu Duju, Street Fighter Collection, and Nakagawa Grande Race. Finally, Flash SEGA Saturn introduces Volume 18, which is a video collection with playable demos, including Panzer Dragoon RPG, which we know internationally as Panzer Dragoon Saga, Thunder Force V, Bokura no Pro Yaku Monogatari, a baseball sim, a Moonbeam video, Fighter's History Dynamite, Biohazard, which is Resident Evil, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 1, Princess Crown, Outrun Demo, Last Bronx, and Real Sound. It looks like a great sampler of what was hot on Saturn back then. It also mentions a Sega Internet homepage and a Sega Busters homepage for more info. Sega's Q&A news updates reveal several exciting tidbits. Regarding fan interest, Sega is considering a sequel or remake for the beloved game Dragon Force. For news, Sega suggested fans utilize convenience store fax machines. A new Saturn RPG, D.I. Chariot Fantasy, supporting up to 5,000 players online, is in development. Sega Saturn Day events at Tokyo Joyopolis will feature special events, including Last Bronx in August. A separate PR bulletin board highlights a Giant Baba presentation and the upcoming All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua game, showcasing motion capture for wrestlers. A new title announcement on July 2nd for Saturn will be unveiled. Readers are encouraged to participate in a postcard mega recruitment for a chance to win prizes. Furthermore, 5 lucky readers will receive CD cases featuring Jackie from Virtua Fighter 3. SoftBank Publishing released a series of manga anthologies, including the 4-DX and anthology comic series. The Pocket Monster 4-DX, based on the Pokemon game, adapts the popular game into 4-panel comics and features numerous artists. The 4-DX series Volume 2 includes Nitujin Den 4-DX, also in a 4-panel format based on the PlayStation game, featuring a team of artists. The Super Game Anthology comic series includes the Super Real Mahjong PV Anthology comic, centered around the game series, and Ida Tenjin Anthology comic, featuring comics and illustrations based on the game Ida Tenjin. Other anthologies include Ida Tenjin 2 Anthology comic, Soryu Tugyo 2 Anthology comic, and Vampire Hunter Darkstalker's Revenge Anthology comic, all featuring original comics and illustrations based on their respective games. This page is a Sega Saturn software databank listing games released for the console between November 1994 and July 1997. It's essentially a database, providing a snapshot of the software available during that period. The page details various games with information like their release date, developer, price, genre, and importantly, scores from both readers and the magazine's reviewers. You'll see titles like Virtua Fighter, Myst, Clockwork Knight, Daytona USA, and a whole bunch of other titles across different genres like action, adventure, RPG, and more. The ratings are presented as average scores from readers and separate scores given by the magazine's editorial team. There's also a notes column, which seems to indicate compatible peripherals like mouse or handle controllers, and potentially age ratings or recommendations such as 18 push. It's a handy reference for Sega Saturn owners at the time to see what was available and how games were rated. This page is a comprehensive list of Sega Saturn game releases, primarily focusing on games released in 1995 and early 1996. It's organized as a table with columns detailing the release date, game title, manufacturer, price, genre, reader and magazine review scores, and peripheral compatibility. There's a lot of information packed in, but we can see many well-known titles listed such as Virtua Fighter 2, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and various other genres represented like RPGs, action games, simulations, and puzzle games. The page seems to be a sales chart or release schedule snapshot from the magazine, giving readers an overview of what's available and how the games are rated. It's a great resource for Sega Saturn owners back in the day to decide what to buy next, based on genre preference, price, and critical reception. There's also hints about controller support, like handle or mouse, which would be useful for players. It's a pretty standard format for gaming magazine listings, offering a quick look at the Saturn game landscape at that time. This page continues the extensive Sega Saturn game databank listing. It's packed with release information, covering games launched in late 1996. We see a detailed table with columns for release dates, game titles, manufacturers, pricing in yen, genre classifications, reader and magazine review scores, and compatibility notes for peripherals. Scanning through, you can spot a wide variety of genres, from shooting and action titles like Batsugun and Galactic Attack, puzzle games, RPGs, and even simulations. There's a good mix of well-known titles and some more obscure Japanese releases. It looks like the magazine provides both reader and their own editorial review scores out of 10, offering a balanced perspective on game quality. Peripheral support is also noted, with mentions of things like mouse or handle, which would be steering wheel controllers. It seems to be a really useful resource for Saturn owners at the time to check out new releases and make purchasing decisions based on genres, prices, and ratings. Again, it's a very detailed snapshot of the Sega Saturn gaming scene during this period. This page continues with the Sega Saturn game listings, diving into more titles released around late 1996 and early 1997. It's still in that detailed table format, giving us release dates, game makers, prices, genres, review scores from both readers and the magazine itself, and even compatibility info for accessories. Looking at the games listed, we see a real mix. Lots of different genres are covered here. There are shooting games like Batsugun, puzzle games like Baku Baku Animal, action titles, role-playing games, and some strategy games too. You can spot games like Deep Fear, Sonic Blastman, Street Racer Extra, and World War W2, Iron Storm Century of Chaos. There's even a mahjong game in there. It seems like the magazine reviewers and the readers have slightly different opinions on some of the games, which is always interesting to see. They are still noting peripheral compatibility, things like mouse and control pad support. It is a very comprehensive overview of the Saturn game scene at this time, capturing a good snapshot of what was available and what players and critics thought of them. This page is an index titled Databank Index, listing Sega Saturn games in Japanese alphabetical order. It appears to be a directory for the magazine, providing a quick reference to find information about specific games mentioned within the publication. Each game title is listed with a corresponding software number and a page number, presumably indicating where more information about the game can be found within the magazine. The page is purely text-based and serves as a comprehensive index for readers to navigate the game content. This page continues the Databank Index, listing even more Sega Saturn games in Japanese alphabetical order. It's essentially a detailed directory, providing a comprehensive index for readers to quickly locate information about specific games within the magazine. You'll find a vast array of titles listed with their corresponding software numbers and page numbers, guiding you to their respective mentions or features within the publication. This page, like the previous one, is text-heavy, purely functioning as a detailed index to navigate the magazine's content and discover more about a wide range of Sega Saturn games. This page continues the Sega Saturn Databank Index, still listing games alphabetically in Japanese, and offering a comprehensive guide to the magazine's content. Think of it as a detailed index where you can quickly find a game and its corresponding page number within the publication using the software number. It's packed with game titles, giving you a huge list of Sega Saturn releases, including well-known titles like Tomb Raider and Fighters Megamix, amongst many others. Essentially, it's all about helping readers easily navigate the magazine and discover more about a wide range of Saturn games. This page is a strategy guide focusing on the Sega Saturn game Pacific Storm 2, known in Japan as Taiheiyo no Arashi 2. The guide highlights basic strategies to achieve victory across the game's 8 scenarios and campaign mode, emphasizing that this simulation of the Pacific War is quite challenging. The page breaks down each scenario, giving a brief description of their unique features. These include historical scenarios like the Battle of Midway, an absolute defense zone, alongside more hypothetical ones like defending the imperial capital in an air battle, or scenarios set in 1946. There's even a scenario called Operation Coronet. The guide also outlines the basic gameplay flow, starting with quickly deploying your forces and launching early attacks. It stresses the importance of resource management and rapidly establishing your war machine to produce necessary units. The advice suggests focusing on manufacturing high-performance units and preparing for enemy attacks. The guide mentions that only 8 aircraft can be deployed per airfield, so efficient unit production and allocation are key to overcoming the enemy. This guide for Pacific Storm 2 stresses the importance of air power for victory. Superior bombers, fighters, and supporting fleets are critical. Before each scenario, players should check aircraft production, fleet locations, base aircraft numbers, and fuel reserves. Weather significantly impacts battles. Consider conditions at deployment and target locations. Short scenarios require swift base capture, ignoring less strategic locations. Campaign mode necessitates securing resource areas, building new forces, and controlling vital ports like Singapore for a prolonged war. For Scenario 4, immediately attack Manila and Davao with land-based aircraft from Takao, targeting submarines. Be cautious of the Midway Islands. Prioritize advancing towards mainland China and other areas using land units, aiming to eliminate Allied forces. The guide suggests developing advanced aircraft like Falcon and Azure Dragon. This guide for Pacific Storm 2 emphasizes key locations and combat tactics. 5 absolute defense points are critical production facilities, including Kure, Nagasaki, and Maizuru naval arsenals for ships, Nagoya Naval Air Arsenal, naval aircraft, and Maebashi Army Air Arsenal, Army aircraft. Losing these severely impacts the war effort. Aircraft deployment should be in large groups, considering Army aircraft's shorter range. Prioritize launching longer-range aircraft first. When attacking fleets, target carriers unless transports are involved in a landing attempt, in which case, sink the transports. The guide warns against over-reliance on the Japanese army. It suggests utilizing air power to weaken the enemy before land occupation, streamlining the process and minimizing casualties compared to prolonged ground battles. This guide, likely for Pacific Storm 2, focuses on optimizing aircraft production for both Army and Navy air forces. It recommends specific aircraft by type, Army fighters and heavy bombers, and Navy carrier-based fighters and bombers. The guide provides a quick assessment of various planes, indicated by development status and stat modifiers. Key recommendations include the Ki-84 Hayate and Ki-91 for the Army, and the A-7 meters Repu and B-7 A-2 Ryusei for the Navy. While the Ki-91 is powerful, it might be costly. The Ki-87 fighter offers good combat ability, but might not be the most economical choice. For beginners, the guide suggests simplifying the game by turning off resource management, weather effects, and enemy detection. This reduces complexity and allows new players to focus on core gameplay mechanics and enjoying the game. This guide explores the Waku Waku power system in Waku Waku 7. It details 4 key ways to utilize the power gauge. First, power-up attacks enhance special moves, increasing damage and adding effects. Strategic use after landing hits is advised. Second, Doki Doki attacks are character-specific, powerful moves requiring precise timing, ideally during opponent openings. Super Mode boosts attack and defense, and provides invincibility during activation, offering offensive and defensive opportunities. Finally, Hara Hara attacks are unblockable. High-damage moves with slow startups, best used when opponents are vulnerable. This guide aims to help players effectively use the Waku Waku power system to gain an advantage in combat. This summary details the special moves for various characters in Waku Waku 7. Bombird's power-up enhances moves, while his super mode offers invincibility. Makuhara's power-up strengthens her beams, and her super mode is a counter. Tessei Ronbro's power-up boosts electronic rays, with a Doki Doki attack of wider range, and his super mode offers invincibility in critical moments. Marun's power-up increases tail hits, and her Hara Hara involves aerial attacks. Dandij focuses on fire-based attacks, and his Hara Hara is a grapple. Fernandez's power-up enhances punches and kicks, and his super mode is quick. The Omake column suggests using turbo mode and Hara Hara attacks to speed up the game, potentially changing gameplay significantly and showing an active match. This page delves into character strategies for Politanks and Dandij in Waku Waku 7, focusing on tactics for both CPU battles and versus matches. For Politanks Kez, the strategy revolves around long-range combat, utilizing his Z-Bullet special move to control space. The guide suggests using the Z-Bullet to keep opponents at bay and capitalize on their approach. For CPU battles, it specifically mentions using the Z-Bullet and human cannonball moves in combination to easily defeat the AI. Basic combos are also outlined, starting with a close-range strong punch, followed by a weak kick, and then Z-Bullet. Dandij's section emphasizes his high attack power and long reach, even though he lacks complex combos. The strategy here is to utilize his special moves and focus on powerful attacks like the incendiary human body bullet. For CPU fights, a special move loop is recommended involving continuous incendiary human body bullet attacks. Another tactic is to use a dash weak punch, followed by the incendiary human body bullet for counterattacks. The guide also suggests using a jumping strong kick into a ground attack as a basic combo for Dandij. Both character sections feature dedicated CPU battle strategy boxes, highlighting specific move combinations for easier wins against the computer. The overall tone is instructional, aiming to help players effectively use these character strengths in Waku Waku 7. This page continues the Waku Waku 7 character strategy guide, now focusing on Bonus-kun and Fernandez. It highlights that Bonus-kun cannot crouch guard, positioning him as a character best used with handicaps in versus mode. Despite this weakness, his special moves are emphasized as being quite strong. The guide then details several of Bonus Kun's special moves, including Hard Impact, Whirlwind Kick, Rampage Club, Super Hot Big Wheel, and Burning Bomber, along with their button inputs. Basic combo techniques for Bonus Kun are also displayed using image sequences. Moving on to Fernandez, the guide describes him as overwhelmingly strong but slow. His basic strategy revolves around using powerful punches and kicks to compensate for his lack of speed. Special moves for Fernandez covered here are Special Big Punch Kick Flying Death, Rolling Death, Vacuum Death, Angry Death Sun, and Rolling Death Sun, again with button combinations. Basic combo examples for Fernandez are also illustrated with images. The reviewer seems to emphasize the raw power of both characters, suggesting they are effective despite some limitations. This magazine page guides readers on completing a reader survey postcard. Instructions emphasize neatness and using Arabic numerals. The survey collects personal data, gender, age, occupation, and gaming habits, specifically regarding SEGA Saturn software ownership and information sources. Readers are also asked for opinions on the current issue and future article preferences, including special features, game guides, and specific genre coverage. The page includes a hardware list detailing various consoles and peripherals. A massive software list catalogs numerous SEGA Saturn games, from RPGs to fighting games. Finally, the issue's featured articles are listed, covering game guides, new releases, and upcoming titles. This provides a comprehensive overview of the magazine's content and encourages reader feedback. This page from SEGA Saturn Press highlights both new release and upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. It's showcasing the latest software to catch up on, and even some software making its first appearance. In the new release section, games like Pachislo Kanzen Kuryaku, Unicole 97, Princess Quest, Zenkoku Seifuku Bishujo Grand Prix Final Love, Tactical Fighter, Muken Retsuden Ikari no Sankaku, and Darkseid 2 are mentioned. Moving to the Coming Soon software section, it introduces titles slated for release soon. Games like Thunder Force V, Langrisser IV, Marvel Superheroes, Momotaro Duchuki, Cat the Ripper 13th Detective, Yume Hisame Kuju Tsukyoku, Kuro no Dansho, Lifescape 2 Body Bionics, Full Car Mini Yonku Super Factory, DX Life Game 2, Lupin the Third Chronicle, Night Ruth Hasho 3, Futatsu Dake no Shinjitsu, Voice Fantasia Ushino Wareta Voice Power, Sound Novel Tsukuru 2, Hopstep Idol, and Roommate Ryoko and Summer Vacation are all listed. The page also features an image of Rogue from Marvel Superheroes, one of the games that is listed as Coming Soon, suggesting it's a featured title in this section. It encourages readers to check out these talked about titles for the summer. This page delves into two highlighted games. Firstly, there's Pachislo Kanzen Kuryaku Unicole 97, which is a Pachislot simulation game for SEGA Saturn. It's designed to be a complete Pachislot strategy guide, boasting an 80% completion rate in simulating real-world Pachislot machines found in arcades. The game aims to be incredibly realistic, recreating the experience down to the smallest details and allowing players to practice their play rhythm and analyze data. It seems like a serious simulator for Pachislot enthusiasts. The second game featured is Princess Quest, an upcoming RPG developed by the team behind Daiundukai. This fantasy RPG, with character designs by Sugiyama Gensho, introduces 5 princesses. We get to meet Milfiol, described as a cheerful princess who is closest to the custard pudding character. Panakata is a studious girl who believes science is superior to magic. Custard is an energetic princess who is quite passionate about becoming a princess herself, though not good at magic. Gerard is a calm and collected older sister type, admired by the younger sister. Finally, there's Cheros, a prideful princess from a noble lineage who aims to become the true princess of Dilma. Alongside the princesses, the page mentions Willow, the protagonist knight caught up in the unfolding events, and Tapioca, a perfect prince of Dilma, skilled in both swordsmanship and magic despite being only 16. This page showcases 2 exciting games. Firstly, Tactical Fighter is highlighted as a unique tactical fighting game where timing is crucial in command battles. The page mentions it's a training-based strategic fighter emphasizing the importance of reading the battle situation and using skills wisely rather than button mashing. It also describes a training system where you earn money through part-time jobs to enhance your fighter's abilities. There are screenshots showing in-game battles and training scenarios. Secondly, Zenkoku Bishujo Grand Prix Find Love, which could be called something like National Beautiful Girl Grand Prix Find Love in English, is introduced as an adventure and puzzle game. It features various puzzle types, such as jigsaw puzzles, memory matching, panel puzzles, and spot the difference. The page emphasizes the game's appeal lies in its adorable girl graphics and the fusion of adventure game elements with puzzle gameplay. It suggests that by answering questions during the adventure, you can also enjoy dating sim aspects. Screenshots display examples of each puzzle type and the cute character art. The next page introduces two upcoming titles. On the top half is Mori Motonari, 3 Arrows of Oath, a simulation RPG centered around the Sengoku period and the warlord Mori Motonari. It's described as the first game to depict his life and focuses on experiencing the many battles and emotional stories of Mori Motonari and his clan. The page highlights that it's based on historical facts and features dramatic event scenes. Screenshots show both battle gameplay and story sequences with character dialogue. Below that is Darkseid 2, the sequel to the H.R. Geiger-inspired adventure game. This installment follows Mike, who is haunted by nightmares and accused of murder. He must clear his name and save the world from the invasion of ancient gods. The game is said to feature a surreal and unsettling atmosphere. An interesting gameplay mechanic highlighted is the town movement system in Darkseid 2, which uses photographs of locations to navigate, making exploration simple. This page dives into Thunder Force V, highlighting stages 4 and 5 along with their respective bosses. Stage 4, titled Guardian's Guardian, unfolds within the Guardian Army's research facility located in the artificial island Babel. The description mentions navigating through material transport routes and vertical pathways, culminating in a boss battle against the Guardian's Knight. Stage 5 is named Judgment Sword, where you, piloting the upgraded Gauntlet fighter, blast off into space from Babel Tower. The stage description talks about using the support unit Brigander for reinforcement and transforming into the RVRO-2 Vambrace. It sets the scene for intense Guardian Army attacks in space. There are also boss introductions. For Stage 4, the boss is Guardian's Knight, a formidable enemy with 2 forms, human and fighter jet, equipped with lasers and blades. Stage 5's boss is Vasti Original, the final form of a character named Vasti, described as a powerful boss using standard weaponry and combined attack patterns, emphasizing intense battles. The page also includes a Maker's Voice section, where someone, presumably from Technosoft, reflects on the game's reception. They note players are deeply engrossed in Thunder Force V, losing track of time while playing, suggesting the game is very captivating and addictive. This Thunder Force vs. Strategy Guide provides essential techniques for Stages 1 and beyond. Weapon selection focuses on twin shot for general use and free range for bosses, with on-the-fly weapon switching. Progress through stages sequentially and start at 75% game speed. For enemy waves, eliminate them quickly. The danger warning signals large enemy appearances. Utilize your ship's rotating claws to negate standard shots, and employ overweapon for enhanced defense. Stage 1, No Blue, features ocean and sky settings with simple enemy patterns. Master the stage's rhythm by focusing on sections. Prologue, increasing speed to 75%. Mid-stage, where you'll face Lavream and use backshots. Climax, destroying gun emplacements on the carrier. And post-transformation, the mid-boss fight. Evade the mid-boss's laser and swinging arms by moving laterally, and use free range with close-range attacks for a 16x score bonus. Stage 2, Wood and Thunder Force vs. features rainy woods with aerial enemies and the Caballos mid-boss. Defeat Caballos safely by using overweapon from behind. The Iron Maiden boss can be defeated with free range aimed at its core, or by carefully dodging its laser attacks and using shot and overweapon. Stage 3, Human Road, presents a ruined underground city with high enemy density, including the Mad Donut mid-boss, which can be defeated with twin shot and hunter weapons. The final boss, A3, Armament Armed Arm, has 3 forms, Attack the first form's feet from below, while avoiding debris. The second form, a tank, is best attacked from above, using free range or hunter. The final aerial form requires using free range on its core, while avoiding laser attacks by moving to the upper corners. This strategy guide for Langrisser IV on Sega Saturn covers the first 10 scenarios. The story begins in Gotha Village, where the protagonist confronts Gizarov over heavy taxes, seeking the sage's crystal. Scenario 1. Subsequent scenarios involve rescuing Rachel, Scenario 2, and fleeing from the Federation, leading to alliances with Princess Kakonsis, Scenario 3, Shelfaniel, and Angelina, Scenario 4. The Kakonsis Kingdom rebels against the Federation, Scenario 5, with King Kakonsis's indecisiveness prompting a decisive battle, Scenario 6. The protagonist then seeks a legendary mirror, Scenario 7. Fights against Federation forces, Scenario 8. Defends the Kakonsis Kingdom, Scenario 9. And finally launches an attack on the Amelia Squad, Scenario 10. The guide indicates the game is complete and ready for release, with the developers expressing excitement for players to enjoy the finished product. This page from the magazine is a strategy guide for Langrisser IV, focusing on equipment obtainable up to Scenario 12. It includes a compatibility chart showing which unit classes can use various weapon and armor types. There's also a scenario-based item availability list, indicating when certain items become available in shops as you progress through the game. The main section details 18 different items, categorized by type such as swords, maces, mail, leather, clothing, and accessories. Each item entry includes its name, value, stats like attack and defense bonuses, and a short description. Items highlighted are weapons like the longsword, knife, main gauche, gladius, kris, mace, and flail. Armor like chainmail and hard leather are also featured. Accessory items such as the cross, gemstone ring, crystal anklet, necklace, and amulet are also described with their magical properties and stat boosts. For instance, the wand improves intelligence and magic range, while the cross offers various magic resistances. The scenario boxes next to the item list show which scenarios unlock these items for purchase in shops. At the top of the page, there's a Coming Soon soft banner, suggesting upcoming software releases. Scenario 11 of Langrisser IV, Defense of Kakonsis Bay, sees Langford defending the bay against Kruger. The player wins by defeating Kruger, and loses if the protagonist dies. The enemy forces include Krugers, various units with levels and troop types like Lancers, Archers, Pikemen, Crusaders, Hawklords, Captains, and aquatic units. Reinforcements of Lizardmen arrive on turn 7 or when specific enemy units are defeated. Tactical advice emphasizes a defensive approach on ships, using mages and priests, and luring enemies close. Utilize magic to weaken flyers and water units, heal your troops, and increase defense. The strategy aims to defeat Krugers while gaining experience. Clearing the stage triggers the Memories of 10 Years Ago event. Angelina's conversation leads to a flashback showcasing a younger Landius, and hints at a past incident involving him. In Langrisser 4's Scenario 12, The Great Pursuit Line, the player must chase down and defeat the retreating Bulwark General by sea. Victory requires eliminating all enemies. Landius's defeat results in failure. The enemy force consists of various units led by Bulwark, Emily, and Langford. The strategy focuses on quickly stopping Bulwark, who utilizes healing magic. Archer and mage barrages are recommended. Elgar's relentless lancer and infantry assaults are a key threat, requiring careful formation and terrain utilization for defense. A suggested initial defense involves infantry walls followed by lancer and flying unit deployments. Engaging Emily and Langford's units is discouraged unless the player feels exceptionally strong. Gameplay screenshots and a potential optional challenge involving Emily and Langford are present. This page dives into the exciting world of Marvel superheroes on the Sega Saturn. It's a preview highlighting the game's special moves and focusing on the powerhouse character, Hulk. The page details common special operations available to all characters, like dashes, super jumps, throws, counterattacks, and even taunts. For Hulk specifically, they showcase his devastating must-kill techniques, including the Gamma Charge, Gamma Tornado, Gamma Slam, and his powerful Infinity Special, the Gamma Crash. The article mentions the game will be released on August 8th It will cost 5,800 yen, and it's a fighting game that will support the expansion RAM cartridge for the Sega Saturn. The developers encourage players to use the RAM and even mention the arcade version. Marvel Superheroes vs. is on the way. The page is rounded off with some action-packed screenshots of Hulk doing what he does best, smashing. This page continues the Marvel Superheroes preview, this time showcasing Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Iron Man. For Wolverine, the page details his must-kill techniques, which include the Drill Claw, Tornado Claw, Berserker Barrage, Weapon X, and Berserker Barrage X. These are presented in a table format showing the command inputs for each move. The descriptions highlight that Wolverine is effective at close range, and these moves are designed for aggressive play. Moving on to Spider-Man, we see his must-kill techniques are Web Ball, Spider Sting, Web Swing, and Web Thrower, along with his Infinity Special, Maximum Spider. The descriptions emphasize Spider-Man's unique fighting style, using webs and the special effects they create. Lastly, Iron Man's section details his must-kill techniques, like the Unibeam, Repulsor Blast, Smart Bomb, and his Infinity Special, Proton Cannon. The descriptions point out Iron Man's strength lies in ranged combat and utilizing projectiles, highlighting the Smart Bomb as a unique move. The page emphasizes that these special moves are key to each character's fighting style in Marvel Superheroes, and encourages players to master them. This page details the fighting styles of 3 Marvel superheroes: Psylocke, Captain America, and Shumagorath. Psylocke's must-kill techniques involve psychic energy blasts, spinning blade attacks, and teleportation abilities. Her Infinity Specials unleash powerful psychic attacks. Captain America relies on shield-based attacks, like Shield Slash, a shoulder charge, and a rising tackle. His Infinity Special is Final Justice. Shumagorath, a more complex character, uses projectile eye orbs, body slams, and a command grab called Devitalization. His Infinity Special, Chaos Dimension, requires a specific input. Each character possesses unique moves and strengths, catering to different fighting styles. This page continues showcasing characters from what seems to be a Marvel fighting game, following on from the previous page featuring Psylocke, Captain America, and Shumagorath. Here, we get a look at Blackheart, Juggernaut, and Magneto. Blackheart is described as having tricky moves that are hard to read and excelling in approaching opponents. His must-kill techniques include Dark Thunder, a projectile attack from his fingertips, and Inferno, a ground-based magical attack. His Infinity Specials are Armageddon and Heart of Darkness, both powerful area attacks. Juggernaut, on the other hand, is a powerhouse who absorbs enemy attacks while dishing out strong blows. His must-kill techniques are Earthquake Punch, a ground slam attack, Juggernaut Punch, a rushing punch, Side Truck, a shoulder charge, and Juggernaut Body Press, a jumping body press. His Infinity Special is Juggernaut Head Crash, a headbutt attack. Lastly, Magneto utilizes magnetic powers for his fighting style. Killed. His must-kill techniques include M-Disruptor, a projectile, Hypergravitation, a move performed in the air, and Magnetic Blast, launching 4 magnetic spheres. His Infinity Specials are Magnetic Shockwave, a ground-based wave attack, and Magnetic Tempest, creating stone-like objects for attack. The page emphasizes that all of Magneto's special moves involve projectiles, highlighting his ranged combat style. The descriptions for each character's moves provide a brief overview of their function and tactical use in the game. This page is an advertisement for Momotaro Duchuki, a board game in the style of the popular Momotetsu series, coming to Sega Saturn. It's described as a Shugoroku game, where you roll dice and aim to reach destinations across Japan, and sometimes even overseas. The main goal is to become the property king, by buying up properties and earning money, just like in Momotetsu. The page details the gameplay, explaining how blue squares on the board give you money, while red squares take it away. Landing on the destination first earns you a big bonus. There are also various events that can occur during your travels, so you need to manage your money carefully, and not be too greedy, even if you become rich. We get to see some screenshots showing the game board, various characters like Momotaro himself and Princess Kaguya, and events like a volcano erupting and causing trouble. There's also a glimpse of a robber Silver Fox character who seems to steal money. The page also mentions the game is about 80% complete and lists areas like Edo Child Mode and Onigashima Island. It's coming from Hudson Soft and is slated for release on September 25th, costing 6,800 yen, and you can play with up to 4 players. The reviewer, Nakayama, is excited about this Momotetsu-style game debuting on Saturn, and mentions interesting events like lottery events and the Dragon Palace. Momotaro Duchuki features several gameplay mechanics. Bonbi, the Great Demon King, the god of poverty, can teleport players back on the board. Players utilize gifts, or charms, similar to cards, for movement, property acquisition, and sabotage. Over 120 gifts exist, purchasable from shops. Edo Child Mode offers a faster-paced game, providing players with significant starting funds and enabling quicker progression. However, expenses also increase in this mode. Forged gifts allow for combining gifts, with a risk of failure. Collecting all 6 Mokutekichi gifts grants instant travel to destinations and a large bonus. Gifts are essential for strategic gameplay. This page introduces Cat the Ripper, a game described as a detective-raising horrific murder adventure. It's set in a parallel world England, and revolves around a series of murders committed by Cat the Ripper, where 12 victims have already fallen. You play as the 13th detective, tasked with solving these seemingly impossible crimes, filled with mystery. The game emphasizes investigation methods and the flow of the prelude beginning. The premise is that you wake up in a locked room, with a dead body, and someone knocking at the door, claiming you're guilty. The game challenges you to prove your innocence by investigating the Cat the Ripper case. The text mentions the game focuses on finding clues and pointing out contradictions to solve the mystery. We see screenshots of in-game scenes, including a dead body in a room, a clock, a mirror, and what seem to be punk-style police officers. It looks like a point-and-click adventure game, where you examine environments to find clues. The text mentions that you need to thoroughly investigate all the items in the room. The game is developed by Tonkin House and was released on July 18th, priced at 5,800 yen. It's described as an adventure game for all ages. The tagline urges players to unravel Cat the Ripper with your head and find the one culprit from all the clues and testimonies. Cat the Ripper is a point-and-click adventure game. Movement is controlled by clicking arrows that appear when the cursor reaches the screen's edges. Clicking on the environment reveals points of interest, triggering character comments, item acquisition, and interaction with people. Items can be used by selecting them from a list and clicking on the desired location. The game features investigations from detective colleagues. You'll investigate the source of a jazz record at Cat's Bones, a cat wax doll at a museum, and a murder weapon at a weapon museum. These initial investigations are a starting point. The game promises deeper investigations and suggests replaying to discover all the game's content and possible outcomes. This page spotlights the SEGA Saturn game Eternal Fantasy Rhapsody, a heartwarming simulation title. The game focuses on deepening relationships with friends and fulfilling requests from the townsfolk. Gameplay is divided into weekday and holiday parts. During the week, players tackle various jobs, assigning tasks to a team of 4 characters from a pool of 10. Each job has required skills, and success is influenced by character compatibility and abilities. The game seems to emphasize strategic team composition to maximize efficiency. The page highlights relationship building, noting that working together improves friendships. Character compatibility plays a role, and pairing up compatible characters is key to success. At the start, players set parameters which determine initial character abilities. The screenshots show in-game interfaces and scenes from what appears to be the daily life and job aspects of the game. This page details more gameplay aspects of Eternal Fantasy Rhapsody, focusing on how to spend your holidays and advance your team's skills. It mentions that after a week of work, holidays arrive, offering choices like spending time with friends, honing skills, or battling in the Colosseum. Even taking a break is an option, but the game encourages thoughtful holiday planning. Events can occur not just during holidays, but also during workdays. The page outlines 3 main holiday activities. Hanging out with friends, where interactions and choices affect relationships and character parameters. Colosseum battles, where you can participate in battles for rewards, requiring combat skills. And skill training, allowing players to improve specific skills by spending money, potentially with friends. Furthermore, it describes work events, which can happen during weekdays and involve the work team. These events appear to be triggered randomly during work and provide opportunities for interaction and character development. Finally, the page introduces rival events, which are described as Sugoroku, Japanese board game, style events. In these events, you compete against rival parties in dungeon exploration, aiming to reach the goal first. Combat is frequent, so it's advised to enhance combat and magic skills beforehand, and even trap disarming skills might be useful. The page mentions battling boss characters and rival parties as part of these dungeon events. This page highlights the game Fragment of Black, a horror adventure game. It's nearing release, and this time introduces characters from the American part of the story. The developer mentions that this American setting offers a different flavor compared to the Japanese parts of the game and teases interesting character stories. The article describes the story, starting with a serial killer case in the mansion where the protagonist, a private detective, lives. While initially closed as a suicide, the case is far from over. The detective, relying on fragmented memories, pursues the real culprit and journeys to America, specifically Maine. This location holds the key to past events, including lost love. The detective must confront their own troubling past to save further victims. The article states that the American storyline becomes central from the mid-game onwards. Two characters are introduced: Nora Differin, described as the most beloved woman, and Bill Tazia, mentioned as a satirical character and a former partner from the detective's past in America. Finally, the bottom section, marked Special Pinup, seems to be discussing the game's visual presentation. It talks about service cuts to alter the mood and showcases vibrant visuals. It emphasizes the use of graphics to soften the tense atmosphere within the story, mentioning the Saturn's color capabilities and the intention to create visually appealing scenes. There's also a quote from a girl in bed, seemingly about a past encounter. Fragment of Black is presented as a cinematic experience, drawing inspiration from foreign films. The game features an English garden setting, voice acting, and subtitles. The American storyline begins in Liberty Banks, involving a black clergyman and the mystical Beltane Knight. A complex mystery, possibly tied to a 6-year-old tragedy, involves geologists and librarians. Character interactions are highlighted through Truth, Kusanagi's memoirs, focusing on Sozaki's relationships, including Bill and Amy, and a location called Hell's Harfakertai. The game delves into horror with Old Man Speaks, depicting inexplicable phenomena and a monstrous creature. The epilogue hints at dangerous situations and suggestive content involving Amy and Akiko. The presentation encourages players to purchase the game based on appealing graphics and gameplay involving investigation and puzzle solving. Lifescape 2. Bodycon Human Body is an edutainment game where players explore the human body through a shooting game. Players pilot an investigation pod within a model body, battling viruses across 13 organs to defeat a brain boss. The game promises an adventure of the inner space. Gameplay involves defeating enemies, collecting key items to access Drana, and investigating body substances to advance through different organs. The in-game UI includes an egg counter, radar, energy gauge, weapon display, and keybox. The goal is to restore the model body to health. This fusion of education and gameplay is praised, with the reviewer noting 100% completion and its use as edutainment software in an NHK program. Stage and Model Body Structure Check describes a game set within a model human body composed of 13 organs. Players navigate blood vessels, collecting Drana and battling a final boss in the brain. The game features diverse environments and mechanics within each organ. The stomach serves as the initial area, offering a beginner-friendly experience with large maps and sparse enemies. The large intestine presents a challenge, requiring players to avoid expulsion with the food waste. The liver, accessible via the portal vein, allows travel to the gallbladder or heart via bile or protein. An educational browse mode incorporates video clips and CG models of organs from an NHK special. Screenshots and an organ network diagram enhance the player's exploration of the human body, combining adventure and learning. This page is focused on the SEGA Saturn game, Full Cowl Mini 4WD Super Factory, a simulation of Mini 4WD racing. The page highlights the game's aim to bring the excitement of real Mini 4WD battles to your TV, capturing the essence of the popular phenomenon and national tournaments. The game boasts a 100% completion rate and features a dedicated race mode where your goal is to conquer the Super Great Japan Cup. You can choose from a variety of Mini 4WD machines and customize them to your liking before racing across 4 rounds. Clearing rounds rewards you with new parts to further enhance your cars. The game is designed to be accessible to everyone, even Mini 4WD beginners, implying user-friendly features and tutorials. The developer's message even mentions the anime Bakusu Kyudai Let's and Go WGP, suggesting fans of the series will enjoy the game. The page includes several screenshots showcasing the in-game racing action, car selection screens, and course previews. It seems to be a comprehensive introduction to this exciting Mini 4WD title for the Saturn, emphasizing the realistic simulation of building and racing these miniature cars. This page goes deeper into the features of Full Cowl Mini 4WD Super Factory. It highlights two main modes, Edit Mode and Race Scene. Edit Mode is all about realistically setting up your Mini 4WD. You can customize various parts like the body, bumper, rollers, tires, and motor. The game emphasizes the importance of considering each part's characteristics to create a winning machine. It even simulates advanced techniques like weight reduction, normally requiring specialized tools in real life, but accessible in the game. The game also lets you design your own original courses easily. You can place start parts, curves, and other elements to build custom tracks, and even test your edited machines on these courses. Race Scene details the race mode, where your customized machines finally compete. Once your machine is set up and a course is chosen, the race begins with signal lights. The game features a race mode with two main parts, preliminary and final races. In the preliminary race, you race solo on a course. Clearing this unlocks the final race, where you compete against 4 rivals. You need to finish in the top 3 in the finals to progress and win the race. The page suggests that if you are constantly going off course, it indicates setup issues, encouraging players to revisit and refine their machine settings for better performance. It ends with a call to action, urging players to play the game, and get ready for the races. This page focuses on Game of Life DX2 for the SEGA Saturn, highlighting its enriched events and new features. A significant addition is the moral parameter, which influences your character's life and career path as you play. Character creation has been massively expanded, allowing players to craft truly unique avatars. The page showcases customization options for both boys and girls, boasting a staggering 230 billion possible combinations from 11 types of parts. You can fine-tune everything from hairstyles and eye color to clothing, promising highly personalized characters that evolve and age from infancy to old age within the game. The article emphasizes the depth of character creation, letting you design not just appearances but also personalities that react to in-game events and influence career choices. It notes the game is 100% complete, scheduled for release on July 24th at 5,800 yen, and supports 14 players with the Saturn multi-terminal. The reviewer sounds enthusiastic, suggesting these additions elevate the game and make it an even more compelling digital board game experience. Game of Life DX2 allows players to repeatedly experience life through various stages. Starting as a student, you'll face challenges like exams and job hunting, impacting future career paths. The game features a diverse range of jobs determined by your character's stats, from low-paying to high-level positions. A key element is the card system, used to boost your abilities or hinder rivals. Life-changing events, triggered by landing on specific spaces, add mini-games and variety to the gameplay. Movement is determined by a roulette. Love and marriage are central, requiring you to build affection and propose. Potential partners are initially hidden and revealed through dates. Children and family life are also significant aspects, making romantic choices and family a crucial part of the game's impact. This page is all about Lupin, the Third Chronicles for the SEGA Saturn. It seems to be a database or collection of content celebrating 30 years of Lupin anime. The page highlights a maniac quiz, which tests your knowledge of the Lupin, the third series, asking questions like what Daisuke Jijin replied to Lupin saying, "It was a good thing," or what Lupin used to defeat Mamo in Lupin vs. Clone. The main focus is the game itself, where you play as Fujiko Mine, infiltrating Lupin's hideout. The goal is to uncover Lupin's data, explore the hideout, and view photos and character history. It mentions gameplay involves searching for data and using photos as floating palettes, and even directly jumping to specific items. There are also some screenshots showcasing the interface and characters, and a slide projector theme is mentioned for viewing character history. The page states it's 100% complete and is coming out on August 8th for 5,800 yen. It's a 2 candelas room set with over an hour of movies included, described as BGV, background video, meaning you can enjoy them while doing other things. The reviewer, named Horiguchi, says Lupin fans should definitely check out the original new opening and ending movies in this collection. The Lupin III Chronicles game offers extensive content beyond gameplay. The Lupin library provides an in-game database with sections like the ICPO file on guest characters, the treasure catalog detailing heists, and Lupin Beauties showcasing female characters. The comic data show presents all 14 volumes of the original manga, while the sound collection archives music from the TV series and movies, including full-screen movie playback. A Maniac quiz challenges players with trivia. Examples include questions about Lupin's snacks at an ICPO meeting, his favorite actors, and the original comic title of the first TV episode. The initial game release features 3 jacket designs and a special seal, making it a collectible item for fans. This page for Night-03, Two Truths Only, is subtitled Explanation of Paranormal. It's an adventure game where you play as one of 5 high school students, each with unique abilities, investigating supernatural occurrences. The game system is a command-based adventure, and choices you make on screen will shape the story. It seems the game emphasizes the story and characters, with full voice acting to enhance the experience. The page highlights a feature where you can choose to display message windows or not, showing screenshots of both options. It also introduces the 5 main characters: Ai Himekawa, Shinya Izayoi, Maria Minagi, Rimika Miyajo, and Toshihide Tokiwa, each with a short profile. There's a reviewer's comment praising the voice acting and mentioning the focus on Ai Himekawa in this installment. The game is advertised as 100% complete and scheduled for release on July 25th for 5,800 yen. Interestingly, there's also a voice selection radio drama version mentioned, featuring voice actors Yuko Miyamura and Kyoko Hikami. This radio drama likely expands on the game's story and characters. This page for Night-03, Two Truths Only, continues the story explanation, focusing on the initial events of the game, which are kicked off by a nightmare seen by the main character Ai. It seems Asi hears voices and sees a terrifying figure in her dream, which marks the beginning of strange occurrences. The page then details 2 key mysteries. Firstly, Ai notices her second city, which appears to be a ring she wears, is missing, and simultaneously a mysterious mark appears in the sky. Secondly, another character, Makoto, suddenly vanishes, accompanied by a dark, ominous presence. The page poses the question of the true nature of this black aura and Makoto's disappearance. The bottom section highlights a branching storyline based on player choices. There are 2 scenarios presented. One where the group decides to go home, and another where they decide to stick together. Depending on the player's choice at this point, the story will diverge into 2 different paths. The screenshots illustrate these 2 choices and their immediate consequences within the game. It emphasizes that the player's decisions will significantly impact the narrative of Night-03. Voice Fantasia is a fantasy adventure game where you, as an anime character, explore a world populated by voiced characters. The player's objective is to rescue girls trapped within the game world, starting with Princess Fret. The story begins with the protagonist's arrival in Phenephene, a kingdom under attack by a demon king. Gameplay revolves around exploring the town, gathering information from specific townsfolk, excluding those inside shops, and completing quests with the help of Weep. A core mechanic is voice power, essential for battling the Demon King, aided by characters like Marie. The game includes dialogue scenes and battles, where voice power is equipped and used. The game also involves collecting money and staying at a hotel. Notable voice actors include Yuko Minaguchi and Kotono Mitsuishi. This page details further gameplay elements and features of Voice Fantasia. The page highlights the game's story, where you need to gather companions to unravel a conspiracy, starting by disguising yourself as the king to rescue Princess Fret. It mentions the need to solve the brainwashing of Inquia. A core mechanic is voice power, used not only for attacks, but also for party recovery and to curses. True voice is mentioned as a type of voice. The holy voice power is described as having the power to unleash curses inflicted by evil forces, also known as true confession. The game shows an equipment screen where you can equip different types of voices, like wind voice, earth voice, change voice, sound voice, and true voice. Another gameplay element is earning money through dancing. You can earn 1,000 grams if you successfully complete a 1-minute dance training session. This money is used for lodging and item purchases. It mentions that if your relationship with the princess deteriorates, she might leave the inn without permission. The page also promotes a premium CD-ROM included with the initial release, described as content-rich. This premium CD-ROM features interviews with voice actors like Tomosa Yokoyama, Inquiya, Yuko Sasahara, Fret, and Kotono Mitsuishi, Weep. Plus behind-the-scenes photos from voice recording sessions and character design sketches. The page features photos of Tomosa Yokoyama and Kotono Mitsuishi during voice recording sessions and initial character design sketches for Inquiya. This page is all about the Sound Novel Maker 2, a tool that lets anyone create their own sound novel games, even if you don't know any programming or are just starting out. It's highlighted as super easy to use, letting you combine illustrations, text, and sound to make your own game. They're even running a contest with prize money for the best creations made with this software, encouraging aspiring game designers to give it a go. The page emphasizes that anyone can easily create a proper adventure game with this tool. You can use your own photos or the included character silhouettes and add background music and sound effects to spice things up. This new version even adds anime character options and features for managing items, making it more advanced than before. It introduces two main editors: a text editor for writing the story, and a card editor for visual elements. The text editor lets you type in your story using various characters. The card editor helps you visually assemble your scenes using backgrounds and character images. There's a tip focusing on making text input easier, especially for controller users, suggesting using hiragana input. To show you how easy it is, they even provide a sample short story called A Housewife's Failure, showcasing how you can create a simple 4-panel manga-style story using the tool. It looks like a great entry point for anyone wanting to try their hand at game creation without needing to be a coding whiz. This section details intermediate and advanced features of Sound Novel Maker 2. The intermediate level focuses on data utilization, particularly the card editor, which offers extensive control over graphics, screen effects, text displays, and audio. A huge library of assets, including backgrounds and sound effects, is available. Advanced features cover branching storylines using branch jumps and managing numerical items for player stats. It also discusses performance effects for impactful scenes. For pro-level projects, the focus shifts to crafting emotionally engaging scenes. Sample software like Graduation Album and Reverse Paradise is provided for inspiration. The review also highlights keyboard input, praising SEGA Saturn keyboard compatibility for smoother text entry, and recommending the word processor keyboard set for text-intensive projects, even though kanji conversion isn't directly supported. This page announces the upcoming release of Hop Step Idol, a communication-focused game where you scout and train young boys to become idols. The game appears to involve interacting with these potential idols in various scenarios to build relationships and manage their stress through training. The page also features an interview with the game's creators, Onoji Tomoko, the planning and graphics chief, and Hayakawa Noriko, in charge of game system and planning. They discuss the game's concept, inspired by the popularity of groups like SMAP, and the desire to create a game where players nurture young idols. They mention researching Johnny's style and even attending V6 concerts for inspiration, particularly regarding fashion and character nuances. The developers aim to allow players to freely customize characters and create an engaging idol training experience, emphasizing the importance of personality settings and visuals that reflect those personalities. They even mention their attention to detail in clothing, like sneakers, drawing inspiration from Air Jordan and everyday street fashion. Hop Step Idol prioritizes relationship building through communication, attitudes, and interactions, despite using numerical parameters. The game offers solo and group events, allowing players to deepen connections with individual idols or experience group dynamics. Scenarios vary seasonally and evolve based on player choices, ranging from playing and eating to conversations. The game features 9 characters designed to represent aspects of adolescence. Players can create units with up to 9 idols, resulting in approximately 36,100 combinations. Each character boasts around 800 dialogue patterns. The developers, Onoji and Hayakawa, emphasize the focus on fostering relationships. Hayakawa aims for relatable characters, creating a sense of empathy, and believes the game's focus on interpersonal connections will appeal to players of all ages. This page introduces roommate Ryoko in Summer Vacation, emphasizing it as a communication-focused adventure game. It highlights the game's core concept, building relationships through dialogue and interactions, moving away from just stat management. The reviewer mentions that it feels like a refreshing approach for romance games, focusing on the enjoyable atmosphere and communication with the character, Ryoko Inoue, rather than complex strategies. The game features Ryoko, your roommate during summer vacation, and the gameplay revolves around conversations and experiencing daily life together. It is mentioned that the game is about 80% complete at the time of writing, and play sessions are estimated to be around 1 week in game time. The reviewer notes that there's a lot of dialogue, and player choices influence the conversation flow, ensuring a focus on communication. Ryoko Inoue's personal data is provided. Birthday November 4th, 1979, height 158 centimeters, weight 46 kilograms, and bust waist hip measurements. Her personality is described as bright and cheerful, straightforward, but also a bit of a crybaby and daydreamer. She currently lives in New York due to her parents' circumstances, but is returning to Japan for the summer vacation. The description hints at changes since the previous game, presumably roommate from half a year prior, suggesting personal growth. This page highlights event scenes from Roommate Ryoko in Summer Vacation, showcasing diverse conversations and interactions with Ryoko. Case 1 features Ryoko reminiscing about searching for 4-leaf clovers as a child, revealing a sentimental side. Case 2 shows Ryoko's helpfulness as she assists a lost missionary, demonstrating her friendly nature and English skills. The page also details the game's exploration element by introducing Ryoko's house. The first floor includes the entrance hall, living room, kitchen, and washroom. Deeper inside is her uncle's study. The description suggests that finding Ryoko and interacting with her in different rooms will be an important element of the gameplay. A floor plan illustrates the layout of the house, including Ryoko's room and a self-room on the second floor. The text details several event scenes from Roommate Ryoko in Summer Vacation. Case 3, Delicious Coffee, features Ryoko offering coffee, playfully judging those who prefer it black, suggesting it's delicious due to her coffee connoisseur father's bean selection. Case 4, Souvenir Stories from America, reveals Ryoko's time in New York, sharing stories and souvenirs, though hints at some cultural anxieties. Case 5 is a psychological test, where Ryoko poses personality questions. Case 6, Ryoko's Ideal Man Image, sees Ryoko describing her ideal man, using humorous stereotypes. Finally, a roommate special present offers a telephone card prize featuring Ryoko in a red dress to 5 winners, with application details and a deadline provided. This page is a guide to SEGA Saturn software, pretty much your complete rundown of games for the console. You've got these 2 cool anime characters front and center, a girl pointing up like she's showing off the hottest game, and a guy posing like he knows what's up with the Saturn. The big red text screams, SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide, so you know exactly what you're getting. Down below it says this section is all about enjoying released games to the fullest. Apparently, this time they're focusing on just 2 games. Looking closer, it mentions Zero Yan Champ Doozy Typer on page 140 and Shinsetsu Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden on page 146. So it looks like they're diving deep into these 2 titles in this guide section. The text next to the guide talks about an exhaustive guide to SEGA Saturn software after release, so it's definitely a post-release focus. Overall, this page is setting up a feature section in the magazine, where they're going to give you the lowdown on a couple of SEGA Saturn games that are already out, giving players the inside scoop to get the most out of them. This guide provides a strategy for Zero Yan Champ Doozy J Typer's story mode, outlining key courses and strategies. Players begin in the mid-game, choosing the south course after the Grand Canyon. The central course features races with Nima, Rosalia, and Galarian in locations like Salt Lake City, recommending SCT 303 and Ult Turbo setups. The south course involves races and partnerships with Raffi, beginning in Phoenix and progressing through Gayharlt challenges. Daytona Beach and the International Speedway present a difficult Zero-Yan championship, though winning is essential. Omaha features a hotel event with Miharu and 200 meters races, but success here is optional. Each course section includes a full spot list of key locations like car dealers, tune shops, and date spots, crucial for progression and gameplay. This guide details city strategies for the Zero-Yan Champ Doozy J Type R story mode. Indianapolis features upgrade races and a potentially partner-losing event with Nancy at the Hoff Museum. Anchorage focuses on ice circuit races and parking lot wins. Boston involves events with Catherine, a sound novel option, and story progression triggered by these or a TV viewing. Chicago unlocks a rank battles and a difficult RPG date, with partner loss as a consequence.
Buffalo requires wet races and a meeting with Jan, with a tip on gear changing.
New York. New York is the final city, starting championships and arm wrestling tournaments, with recommended tuning. Hawaii serves as a bonus area, unlocked after winning New York, with swimsuit events and no story-related consequences. This page is all about mastering the art of shift changes and tuning in racing games, specifically for winning. It starts by explaining the best timing for shifting gears, advising players not to wait until the revs are maxed out before shifting. They use engine curve examples to show how torque, yellow line, and power, blue line, relate to shift timing. The guide suggests checking the RPM at peak torque and shifting up a little after that point for the most effective acceleration. The page then moves into tuning strategies based on the type of race. It compares turbochargers and superchargers, explaining that turbos are great for long races where you can build up revs, while superchargers are better for quicker races and easier to handle, although they might not give you the same top-end power. Finally, it gives examples of tuning setups specifically for Zero-Yan drag races. It recommends combinations of superchargers like SCT 808 to boost low-end torque for quick starts, and HYP turbos for mid to high RPM power. It also mentions CURT turbos for races where top speed is king, like 1,000 meters races. The screenshots show in-game tuning menus from what looks like Zero-Yan Champ, showcasing how these different parts affect the engine's torque and power curves. The page is essentially providing expert tips on optimizing your car's performance through smart shifting and tuning for different race conditions in a racing game like Zero-Yan Champ. This guide offers RPG tips and strategies, including advice on skills like Pooh's Escape and tactics for swordsmen and gunmen. A section details puzzle-based strategies for India's Treasure, levels 1 to 4, emphasizing clearing rooms, opening chests in a specific order based on a grid, and navigating a designated path. Chicago Azure Tower requires ORD cards and an India changer, with card number 5.
For India's Treasure levels 5 and 6, players are advised to map out monsters. The guide concludes with a special ending condition list featuring 18 endings, many dependent on partner characters and their relationships, and achieving various conditions, such as reaching specific locations, winning tournaments, or specific affection levels. This page details the partner sentiment value secret for a game, likely a dating sim element within a racing game given the context from the previous page and the character names that sound like racers. It outlines how to increase affection with partners through dates and gifts. There are 5 levels of partner sentiment, from dislike to love, each tied to a numerical affection range. The page includes a date best choice table, listing various date spots like Shopping Street, Golden Gate Bridge, and Daytona Beach, alongside characters such as Natsuki, Arami, Wendy, and Raffi. This table seems to indicate the best choices at each location to increase affection with each girl, showing numerical values that represent the effectiveness of date choices. The page further profiles 2 characters, Natsuki Kiharano and Raffi couple, detailing their preferred fields, disliked fields, and gifts they appreciate. For Natsuki, her preferred gift is a vintage leather jacket. For Raffi couple, it's a yellow ribbon. Date conditions are listed for various locations, like Shopping Street, Daytona Beach, and Golden Gate Bridge, specifying events that can occur and conditions to trigger them, often related to affection levels, time of year, or specific in-game criteria. For example, a swimsuit event can occur at Miami Beach when dating Raffi couple if their affection is like or love. The racing game features 6 female dating sim partners, each with unique profiles. Wendy Hamilton, focused on weight reduction, enjoys trading cards and offers dates at Broadway Plaza, Nebraska Ranch, and Monkey Stadium. Tony Peralti, excelling in aero, prefers a trendy jacket and dates at Grand Viewpoint, Miami Beach, and the hospital. Raffi J. Farsun, strong in powertrain, likes rock band creds and dates at Hyde Street Pier, Las Vegas Casino, Daytona Beach, and Monkey Stadium. Velji Albel, specializing in tires, loves diamond rings,
with dates at Shopping Street, Miami Beach, and the Ice Circuit. Kura coupling, strong in engine tuning, likes stuffed animals and Boston Philharmonic Crids, and dates at UV Studio, Miami Beach, and Niagara Falls. Finally, Arami W. Makauda, skilled in everything, also likes Boston Philharmonic Crids, with dates at Central Park. Each character has specific date spots, with events triggered by affection, game progress, or the time of year.
This page highlights Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage for the SEGA Saturn, and delves into the game's storyline, which is now entering its second half. It seems the story is centered around the hero's journey to defeat Amakusa, and this article is focusing on the events leading up to the current point in the narrative and what's coming next. The up-to-now story section recaps the plot so far. Amakusa's evil deeds kick off the story, and the heroes embark on a journey to defeat him, seeking help from Tenkusa and saving Edo Castle. They have overcome obstacles and now find themselves facing new challenges as they move towards Osaka. The page also details a dungeon area called Ancient Tomb, showing a map with numbered locations. It lists the treasures you can find there: Shiki God's Gauntlet, Ground Dragon Grass Shoes, True Field Band, and Holy Ribbon. It also introduces some of the enemies you'll encounter in this tomb, namely the Demon World Monk, who uses curses and poison, and the Dual Blade Sword Saint, who is strong in close combat and has many variations. Essentially, this page is giving players a mid-story summary and a sneak peek at a dungeon area, prepping them for the challenges ahead in Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage. This guide details gameplay in Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage, focusing on boss battles and locations. The page covers the Fated Showdown vs. Ushiwaka Hime fight, including a screenshot and character stats. It also features Yomitsu Hime, a character encountered if playing as Ukyo Tachibana, who can revive after being defeated. The guide then moves to Kujukuri Coast, where the heroes shipwreck after saving Osaka. Players must defeat monsters at the village chief's request, leading to information about a shrine bell. A battle against a powerful Genma demon, Health 990, at Kujukuri Coast is also detailed, emphasizing health recovery. Finally, the guide hints at the next destination, Beppu, after Kujukuri Coast, and provides directional hints like, go west, seek a path, for navigation within the game area. This page is all about revealing secret techniques, or higi, in what appears to be Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage. It's showcasing a bunch of powerful special moves from different characters. Starting with Rimuru, her move, Konsuru Rakuru, creates a large ice pillar that lifts enemies and then shatters, causing multiple hits. Galford's plasma drive is like his plasma blade, throwing enemies into the air in a line. Nakoru has Reira o Kamui, where she becomes enveloped in holy aura and charges from above, a strong continuous attack. Charlotte shows off Ange Défense, a flashy countermove that unleashes 7 colored flashes and hits the entire screen. Cham Cham uses Kill Kill's Courser, throwing her boomerang to hit enemies multiple times. A tricky move to master. Moving on. Kyoshiro's Fury Deathblade is described as a cherry blossom-like slash dealing single target damage. Dominate King Maru's Dominate Sky Slash is a soaring attack that creates wind blades. Lastly, Ukyo Tachibana demonstrates the Secret Sword, Decisive Dream Sword, emphasizing its speed and unpredictability, a powerful and elusive technique. The page seems excited to reveal these higi, highlighting that mastering these secret moves will give players a significant edge in the game. It's a guide to help players discover and utilize these powerful techniques. This page introduces Setsu Wind Island Story, with illustrations by Keita Amemiya, known for his distinctive style. We see 2 main characters, a bird-like figure named Hugh, wearing a top hat and holding a stick, and a stone-like creature called Ganbo, with a butterfly on its head. The page includes comments from the graphic designer who mentions that Hugh was the first character designed, and evokes a wandering poet or Moomin Snufkin image. They also talk about Ganbo's movements being inspired by stone material, and express concerns about making stone characters appealing in games. The overall theme seems to revolve around these mysterious companions in Setsu Wind Island Story, and hints at a larger concept called Drive, Guap's Magic Lantern Show, suggesting a fantastical and imaginative world being created with these characters. It emphasizes the unique graphic style and character design by Keita Amemiya.
The next page introduces Refrain Love for the Saturn, a new sensation love simulation game featuring 3 university student heroines. The game stars Tomomi Sakura, Ran Yuki, and Shuko Takamiya. The main character is a 4th-year university student aiming to graduate, and the game follows their love life from early summer to Christmas Eve. Refrain Love is described as a simulation game where you raise your character's stats like stamina and knowledge to go on dates. The game features 7 characters in total, the 3 heroines, plus 3 male students named Tetsuya, Yusuke, and Yasuo, all attending the same university as the protagonist. The gameplay is about navigating relationships and making choices about where to go, what to do, and who to spend time with, which will affect the story. The goal is to experience many encounters and memories, aiming for a happy Christmas Eve on December 24th. The page highlights that this is a love story with trendy drama elements, and that players should strive for a fulfilling youth. Screenshots showcase in-game scenes, menu interfaces with stats, and dating scenarios. Love Club Campus Report for Refrain Love Game seeks reader input. The report features 5 articles for Love Club establishment, offering dating tips like embracing chance and keeping group sizes small, all tailored to the game's context. Akimi's 5 Rules recruitment calls for dating wisdom, successes, or failures, particularly from girls. Furthermore, there's a Refrain Love heroine swimsuit design big recruitment event, asking for swimsuit designs for the game's heroines, promising trendy designs illustrated by Mr. Koyabashi Kohiho. Detailed character profiles are coming soon, with fully illustrated 14 people being teased. Readers can submit entries to the Refrain Love Club at Riverhill Soft, and potentially receive prizes like software or telecards if selected. The game's website is provided for additional information. This page, titled Treasure Factory Know Your Stuff, is all about the game developer Treasure and kicks off their debut feature in this magazine. It starts by acknowledging that many people might not know Treasure, so they are going to explain them. They mention their history, starting from their time at SEGA AM2, and their debut game, Gunstar Heroes on the Mega Drive, released in September 1993. They are also working on Silhouette Mirage at the time of writing. The page includes a section called Tomorrow's Developers Rush In, which is like a recruitment notice, inviting readers to submit game ideas. They compare game development to baseball, requiring constant practice and skill. They want to find people with passion to join Treasure. There's also a section titled Gunstar Heroes Character Design Mr. Han's Comments, where the character designer reflects on Gunstar Heroes. Mr. Han mentions it's hard to comment on Gunstar Heroes now, feeling distant from it. He acknowledges the game's strength was its programming and multi-joint characters, emphasizing it was a programmer's game. He also touches on the freedom Treasure had, sometimes forgetting they were part of a company due to the creative liberty, highlighting the positive results of this freedom and good company culture. He concludes by saying the success was thanks to the programmers, and he genuinely believes that. This page dives deeper into Treasure and their upcoming game, Silhouette Mirage. It looks like they're having a bit of fun with it, with a title that includes Kupijin and San, almost like a quirky character introduction. The page seems to be themed around Silhouette Mirage, as hinted by the title, Silhouette Mirage First. There are 4 comic panels here that are a bit cryptic, but seem to be setting up the game's world or characters in a playful way. The first panel shows a determined-looking lady with luggage, stating she's going to bloodily sacrifice Silhouette Mirage, which is quite a strong statement. The next panel shows another character, looking like she's in trouble, apologizing for kicking someone. Then, there's a purple fox-like creature in a box complaining about umbrella and meteor shower, and calling someone a slave, which is pretty strange. Finally, the last panel has a girl with a gun, calling someone a self-proclaimed Kupi, and warning about regret. It's all very intriguing, and makes you wonder about the story and characters of Silhouette Mirage. Continuing from the previous page, the information section at the bottom is still encouraging reader interaction and feedback. They are keen to hear what players think of Treasure and Silhouette Mirage, asking for illustrations, comments, questions, and even complaints. They want to gather all sorts of opinions and ideas from readers who have been following Treasure since their Mega Drive days. This page is all about SNK World 97 Extra, and it's highlighting Samurai Showdown IV, Amakusa's Revenge. They're calling it Hyper Fighting Game Number 1. This is the first fighting game for the new generation machines, and it's described as a real samurai action experience in 3D. The page boasts about the game's evolution from 2D to 3D, with realistic samurai action. They mention motion capture and 2D animation techniques to bring the battles to life. It sounds like they're emphasizing the realistic movements of the samurai and how they're moving beyond just a flat 2D world. Visually, we've got screenshots of gameplay and character art. You can see Haomaru and Ukyo in a match in one of the screenshots. There's also character artwork for Nakoru, Rimuru, Genjuro, Galford, and Hattori Hanzo. They're saying that there are 9 characters in total, pulling from the popular Samurai Showdown series and adding new faces. It mentions fan favorites and new characters will join in. It appears to be a big deal for Samurai Showdown to go 3D, and they're really pushing that angle. This page continues the excitement for the new generation of arcade machines with Hyper Neo Geo 64. Following on from the 3D Samurai Showdown game, this page introduces another title to showcase the new hardware. First up, there's a section highlighting Challengers Welcome and mentioning new samurai entering the 3D sword fighting arena. It talks about the colorful and brave warriors and how their stories will unfold. We can see character art of what look like new samurai characters, possibly additions to the Samurai Showdown universe. Maybe Kazuki Kazama, Sogetsu Kazama, and Hanma Yagyu. Then, the page shifts gears to a brand new racing game called Round Trip RV, which is touted as Stank's first body sensation rally game. They're really pushing the feeling of speed, saying you can feel it through the steering wheel. It's described as a realistic RV rally game where you can experience the weight of the vehicle, react to road conditions, and enjoy immersive sound. They even mention using real-world RV models like Pajero and Hilux. It sounds like you can choose courses and race against up to 4 players. Finally, at the bottom, there's a bit about SNK sponsoring a rally team called Team Mandala SNK for the Second Asian Rally 97. It seems SNK is getting involved in real-world motorsports to promote their new racing game. This page is dedicated to Elf's Douce 2, but this time, it's for Windows 95s. They're excited to show off the graphics for this new version, boasting upgraded 256 color CG and more power. The reviewer is clearly impressed with the graphical beauty and encourages readers to look forward to it. It mentions that the game features character voices and they've powered up the sequel aspect for this Win 95 edition, making it a full power-up version for 95. There's a section called Elf Transmission Board, which seems to be user submissions. One submission is from someone in Gifu Prefecture showing fan art of Mizuho and Miko, saying they drew it in a heartwarming style. Another is from Toyama Prefecture featuring Uesugi and Kamimoto, mentioning it's a late submission and they hope it's still okay, commenting on the nostalgic feel of the illustration and the charm of the characters. Below that, there's a section about L as a gift, introducing a telecard of L, noting that the software itself is rare now. They are giving it away as a present to 5 lucky people, mentioning details on how to apply by July 31st to the SEGA Saturn Magazine editorial department in Tokyo. Finally, there's a warning that this content is for ages 18 and up. This page is from Welcome to Kadokawa Shootin' World, and it's the 14th and final installment. At the top, there's a little note about the rainy season, with the writer in Hakozaki expressing a desire to escape to Siberia to see a polar bear. The main content is a 4-panel manga strip called Kadokawa Shootin' Teacher's Drawing Lesson 4-panel manga. It looks like it's dealing with relationship advice in a funny way. In the first panel, a green-haired woman is approached by a man who seems to be in a hurry, asking for her help because a friend needs it. Then, we see a girl with orange hair looking at a postcard that says it's from Italy Airport. She thinks it's beautiful, but the postcard then poses a strange question about what you would do if your seat was taken on a flight. The green-haired woman then dramatically tells the man that she chose a lover over friends and can never see her friends again. Finally, the orange-haired girl is completely bewildered by the postcard's question and seems to be asking, "You?" in confusion, as the postcard ends with a postscript saying the answer will be revealed when they meet. At the bottom, there's a call for fan mail to the Kadokawa Shootin' Teacher, encouraging readers to send in postcards. It also mentions that this section is the department's final highlight, hinting at the impressiveness and humorous truth revealed by the staff in this final strip. SEGA M3 R&D Department. Number 3 is hosting the Top Skater Session 1997 tournament, a national competition for the SEGA Saturn game Top Skater. Sponsored by Levi's Silver Tab, the event aims to capture the street culture vibe. Preliminary rounds run from August 1st to 30th, with area finals on August 31st. With 110 preliminary rounds nationwide, the top 3 players from each advance to the area finals. Entry is 200 yen, using the Skater Session course. The grand prize is the Stun Trackers Trophy, and access to the advanced course. The event is promoted by Levi's Silver Tab, and designed to reflect the street culture and rhythm associated with the brand. The event organizers encourage participation, emphasizing style and fun, over solely focusing on scores. This SEGA Saturn guide for the Lost World, Jurassic Park, focuses on Stage 1, The Law of the Jungle, presented as a strategy guide from Steven Spielberg, a Japanese game director. The guide breaks down the stage into 4 areas. Area 1 emphasizes using obstacles and practicing difficult headshots against velociraptors. Area 2 advises ricochet shots on triceratops. Area 3 introduces a green raptor boss, prioritizing its quick elimination. Area 4 features Compsognathus and the T-Rex, recommending headshots for the former and timing shots after the T-Rex roars. The guide also profiles Stage 1 dinosaurs, Dilophosaurus, Velociraptor, Compsognathus, Triceratops, and T-Rex, including stats and descriptions, and uses screenshots to aid players. The tone is encouraging, assisting players with the game's mechanics. This page presents the Shockwave Theater for the arcade game, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, highlighting its immersive sound system that surpasses conventional movie theater experiences. The page is an interview with Sugimori Yuji from SEGA AM4 R&D department, who discusses the development of this cabinet. He explains that the concept for the cabinet's design, particularly the sound, came before the Lost World theme was decided. They aim to create a truly immersive 3D sound experience without headphones, which was challenging in an arcade setting. Sugimori mentions that they focused on using sound to enhance gameplay, especially for enemy awareness, even when visually obscured. He notes that previous 3D sound systems were headphone-based and less accessible in arcades. The Shockwave Theater aims to bring that immersive sound directly into the arcade cabinet experience, making players feel like they are inside the game world. He describes the game itself as a shooting game where sound is crucial and designed to be enjoyable for a wide audience, not just hardcore gamers. The page includes a diagram illustrating the speaker layout within the cabinet, featuring front and rear speakers, a woofer, and vibration units to enhance the sense of immersion. Top Skater is also mentioned as a previous title Sugimori worked on, showing his experience with large-scale cabinet design. This page continues the discussion about the Shockwave Theater cabinet, showcasing its development stages to completion. We hear from Higashiguchi Motohiko of SEGA AM4 R&D, the designer behind it. He encourages everyone to try playing inside the cabinet. The page details 4 development phases. Stage 1 starts with the initial theater cabinet concept, emphasizing large-scale design with 3D sound, a big screen, and substantial speakers. Stage 2 evolves the design into an extended theater cabinet, including an on-air sign and gallery-like vibration features. Stage 3 introduces the Shockwave Theater prototype, adding a curtain for enhanced atmosphere and jungle-themed imagery. Finally, Stage 4 marks the completion, with the cabinet adopting a Lost World-inspired red and black color scheme and incorporating rotating lights on top. In the interview, Higashiguchi reflects on the cabinet's size, speaker placement experiments, and the immersive sound experience. They tested various speaker setups, eventually adding top and side speakers to enhance the 3D sound effect. He also highlights the unique IR gun system, which is different from typical systems, and doesn't rely on screen flashes to detect gun position. He concludes by mentioning that this system still has room for improvement, and expresses hope for future games that fully utilize its audio-driven gameplay potential. Believing the Shockwave Theater is a worthwhile creation. This article from SEGA AM3 R&D celebrates the excitement of Virtual On, drawing comparisons to intense battlefields and highlighting the appeal of its virtual telecards. The article then features This Week's Home Expert Go! A player named Ueda Yusuke from Kyoto, lauded for his dedication to games, particularly Virtua Fighter 2. The reviewer humorously awards him Gabus and a telecard for his impressive skills and detailed move lists. Finally, the most beautiful girl of this week, showcases fan art submissions based on the theme VR Girl, with praise for the artist's work and the potential for future projects like a Yuna-inspired game. The article reflects a passion for both Virtual On and the broader gaming community. This page showcases the Enthusiast Dojo Corner, this time featuring the Intermechanica Type 82 Kuba Wagon, which they're hilariously calling a serious Sieg Heil ride. It's a deep dive into this replica car, with commentary from Suzuki Doitsu and Katoki Hajime. They point out it's a faithful replica of the WW2 German military vehicle, built by Intermechanica. It's packing a 1,584cc Volkswagen engine, a step up from the original 985cc. These guys are impressed with the details, noting features like the dashboard being almost identical to the original, the air-cooled engine, and the one trailing arm suspension. They joke about the iron-like steering wheel and the included shovel, and how quickly you can put the canopy up, apparently faster than a Unos Roadster. They emphasize it's customizable, offering options like air conditioning, automatic transmission, and even right-hand drive. They're seriously recommending this super cool Kuba Wagon replica. Down at the bottom, it's all about VR Viper 2 Girl and naming her. It seems like they were asking for name suggestions for a VR project character, Viper 2 Girl, and they are announcing the chosen names. They picked Viper Pearl Tias II and some other names with a VR vibe. Looks like they're working on something cool with this Viper 2 Girl character. This page is all about the Java T Battle Tournament Finals for Virtua Fighter 3, highlighting the 32 female finalists. It mentions that the national finals are approaching, set for July 27th, and this article spotlights the players who made it. There's a table showcasing all 32 finalists, listing their represented regions, the game centers they come from, their names, ring names, and the characters they use in Virtua Fighter 3. On the left side, the article focuses on the ladies class tournament, emphasizing the high skill level of the female players. It mentions Chan as a strong contender, the Morinaga Angel Cup ladies class champion, who is aiming for victory in this tournament too. The article also points out Shibuya Jackie Ko, representing Spot 21, as a rival who previously lost to Chan, and suggests a potential rematch. Furthermore, Tsuda Ashuai from Tokyo is highlighted as another player to watch in the ladies class, especially because she is a rare and skilled Akira user. The photo below shows Tsuda Ashuai, described as a notable player and the only Akira user in the ladies class. The article details the open class finals of the Java T Battle Tournament for Virtua Fighter 3, featuring 48 skilled players from various regions, including Tokyo, Hiroshima, and Nagoya. Notable participants include Okita Akira from Aichi and Gaku Rankage from Hiroshima. The article highlights unique character choices, such as Mikuri and Shun players. The table lists all 48 finalists, with their regional affiliations, game centers, names, ring names, and chosen characters. The article also includes a photo of Tokyo representatives, emphasizing the competitive qualifiers. The event itself, held on July 27th, welcomes attendees on a first-come, first-served basis. Mr. Suzuki Yu, the department manager, and Mr. Koji Yoshikazu, the composer of Virtua Fighter 3's music, will be present. Yoshikazu will perform a mini-live concert, singing the theme song, Kimi ga Inai Yoru, and potentially incorporating character voice lines. This page is a report on the Virtua Striker 2 SEGA Headquarters Cup tournament. It was held at SEGA Headquarters on June 29th, and gathered 64 players competing for a trip to Germany. The event is described as a great success, and they were lucky to hold it as a typhoon had passed just before. The article mentions that this was the first general public event for the Virtua Striker series, organized by AM2, and they are eager to host more in the future. The article features comments from staff, including the producer, Mr. Mifune, who was impressed by the high level of play and the necessity for both luck and skill to win. The main programmer, Mr. Fujita, felt the matches were more intense than he anticipated, and enjoyed seeing skillful sliding shots. The sound damdang, sound in charge, Mr. Mitsuyoshi, was surprised by the enthusiastic atmosphere, initially thinking it might be quieter like Virtua Fighter events, but was impressed by the energy of the soccer game tournament. The results table shows the top 4 players, the best goal award winner, and other special prizes. The winner was Murakami Taichi from Japan. Second place was Kawabata Atsushi. Third was Hagiwara Katsuhiko. And fourth was Asaka Mitsuhiro. The best goal prize went to Kasai Shin-no-suke. The table also lists the countries used by the players, which include Italy, Colombia, Croatia, Uruguay, and Brazil, showing the international appeal of Virtua Striker 2. This page is dedicated to Dynamite Baseball 97, boasting that summer is definitely baseball dynamite. They're even giving away special Dynamite fans to 20 lucky readers for summer baseball viewing. The advert highlights that this game uses the latest 97 professional baseball data and emphasizes realistic player movement through motion capture and intuitive bat switch controls. It also mentions the unprecedented scale of in-game advertising, featuring a total of 23 companies and one group as virtual sponsors. It showcases 3 distinct stadium types you'll play in: the Dome Stadium, a huge dome field unaffected by weather and capable of hosting concerts; the Day Game Stadium, a large urban stadium with a counter bar and shops nearby; and the Night Game Stadium, a classic baseball stadium with a traditional stand feel, known for exciting games and even fans occasionally running onto the field. Sponsors like Coca-Cola, Kirin Beverage, Lotte, Fujifilm, and IBM are mentioned as being featured in the game across these stadiums. This text reviews a guide for Dynamite Baseball 97, focusing on team strategies. The Dynamite 1-point section offers insights for each team. The Yakult Swallows rely on balanced play and stealing bases. The Hiroshima Toyo Carp use a strong batting lineup. Hanshin Tigers focus on veteran hitters and careful base running. The Yokohama Bay Stars utilize power hitting for home runs. The Chunichi Dragons emphasize pitching and defense. The Yomiuri Giants prioritize aggressive batting and home runs. The guide provides detailed player data tables, rating players across various stats. It also explains the game's parameter value system, including how pitcher stats are ranked using A's to D. This suggests a comprehensive guide for team selection and strategic gameplay within Dynamite Baseball 97. The next page continues the Dynamite Baseball 97 strategy guide, diving into more team tactics. We're looking at 6 more teams in this breakdown. First up, the Oryx Blue Wave are highlighted as a team that blends hitting and base stealing, with a strong emphasis on veteran players. Next, the Cebu Lions are described as having a powerful batting lineup, though slightly weakened from their peak, but still capable of aggressive play. The Daihawks are presented as a team focused on solidifying their batting lineup, aiming to be a strong offensive force with key players. The Nipponham Fighters are noted for their powerful hitting style, and a team that can consistently score runs. For the Kintetsu Buffaloes, the guide points out their strong hitting ability, particularly with foreign players and veteran Japanese hitters contributing to their offensive power. Lastly, the Chiba Lotte Marines are described as a team with high batting average potential, relying on solid base running and strategic play to compensate for a slight lack of power hitting. The page features detailed player data tables for each team, covering various stats like batting and pitching abilities, and physical attributes. It also explains how to interpret this data, defining parameters such as catching, power, speed, shoulder strength, and defense to help players understand player strengths in the game. The guide emphasizes that these parameters represent a player's skill in different aspects of baseball within Dynamite Baseball 97. This page is all about a Capcom special feature called Rainbow Colored Dreams, celebrating the 10th anniversary of Rockman, or Mega Man as we know him. It's a rainbow color big feature poll asking readers about their favorite rainbow color illustrations and characters. There's a rainbow color character ranking for the Harokeipu version, revealing the top characters based on reader votes. The top 5 are Rainbow Saki at number 1, followed by Asaki Hisako, Rinsu, Kira Yoshimi, and Morioka Megumi. There's a section for 2 title transplant decision, Transplant Hope ranking, where readers voted for games they'd like to see ported. Alien vs. Predator tops the list, followed by Capcom World 2, The Punisher, and the 19XX series. Also, there's a limited edition Put This In ranking, asking about desired bonuses for limited edition games. Top requests include detailed setting documents, digital books, newly drawn illustrations, key holders, and including everything in the game. Finally, there's a section promoting Capcom RPGs for the Saturn, encouraging readers to suggest ideas for RPGs they want Capcom to create for the system. As a bonus, they're giving away a Street Fighter II movie t-shirt to 3 lucky winners who send in postcards to the magazine. The next page dives into the 4 Mega RAM cartridge, tentative name. In an interview conducted at Capcom's Osaka Development Building,
The interview is with Mr. Iwashita Ryo from SEGA, focusing on this new 4 megabit RAM cartridge and the reasons behind its creation. Essentially, this RAM cartridge is designed to boost the SEGA Saturn's capabilities, particularly for arcade ports. Mr. Iwashita explains that current expansion RAM cartridges are 8 megabits, 1 megabyte. But this new one is a significant leap to 32 megabits, 4 megabytes. The goal is to enhance games, allowing for richer graphics and smoother gameplay, especially for demanding titles. The interview touches upon the development process, the cost considerations, and the decision-making behind the 4 megabit size, and also explores how this cartridge might be used in games, mentioning potential improvements to animation and graphical detail, particularly in Capcom's 2D fighting games like Marvel Super Heroes and the upcoming Pocket Fighter. They are aiming for near-perfect arcade ports thanks to this extra RAM. The lineup box on the page also highlights a staff free talk and game introduction for Marvel Super Heroes, news about the arcade, new title Pocket Fighter, and an interview about the soon-to-be-released Mega Man X4. It seems this page is really focusing on how this RAM cartridge is going to improve the Saturn experience, especially for Capcom's arcade titles and the upcoming Mega Man X4. This text provides insights into the development of Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter. Kyoji Okamoto highlights the series' evolution and the importance of gameplay feel, character appeal, and balance. He considered adding characters like Hager and Strider Hiryu. Kengo Tomita discusses the shift from Street Fighter and the priority of fun over complex world building. He also touches on the hand-drawn graphics, robot integration, and the desire to realistically portray robots from different series. Takanori Aito talks about character selection, focusing on popular characters and nicknames, and discusses the game's world setting and the appeal of robots in space battles, emphasizing freedom in design. The text also includes a one-point advice section for Vampire Savior and a humorous section about a staff member's recovery. This page dives deeper into the new systems in Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter, focusing on X-Men vs. and the evolution from previous titles. The article highlights the super jump, aerial rave, and variable attack systems carried over, but also introduces new mechanics to enhance team strategy. They talk about variable hero battle with new variable assist and variable counterattacks that add depth to combat. Variable assists let you call in a teammate during a fight using specific commands, and variable counters are for countering after blocking using a meter. The reviewer notes the importance of team composition due to these new variable attacks, suggesting players should consider characters with projectiles or mobility. The page then switches to introducing Pocket Fighter. It emphasizes the cute, deformed style of characters from games like Vampire Savior, Street Fighter Zero, Alpha, Street Fighter II-I, and Warzard, Red Earth. The game uses a simplified control scheme with P, C, K, and special buttons plus a lever. The reviewer is excited about this cute take on fighting games and mentions the possibility of costume combos. The screenshots showcase Pocket Fighter's gameplay with super deformed characters and simplified interfaces. This interview focuses on Mega Man X4, highlighting its new features and development. Developers are excited about the game, especially the playable Zero, who offers a distinct playstyle with a sword and special moves. The game expands on the X series storyline, delves into the relationship between X and Zero, and features Iris. Key improvements include enhanced visuals with CG and voice acting, and a streamlined control scheme. Challenges included balancing the game, increasing the volume of objects and patterns for Zero, and refining character animation. The limited edition Mega Armor Pack is also mentioned. The developers aimed for a polished, engaging experience, encouraging players to enjoy both characters' perspectives and Zero's ending. The game is designed to be fun and visually appealing, with a focus on a deeper narrative and innovative gameplay. This review section previews upcoming SEGA Saturn games releasing between July 19th and 25th. 3 review groups, including Lady User Group, High Rollers, and guest game writers, offer their insights. 2 games are reviewed: Adventure Action Mono Mono and DX Life Game 2, both releasing July 24th. Adventure Action Mono Mono, an RPG, is praised for its extensive collection of items with unique animations and a nostalgic feel, but criticized for incomplete gameplay and stage design, earning a 6.33 score. DX Life Game 2, a board game, is considered an improvement over its predecessor, with enhanced power-ups and new elements, earning a 7.66 score and being considered a potential Saturn collection candidate.
4 games are releasing on July 25th. Slayers Royal 2, an RPG based on the anime, is well received by fans, with praise for its faithfulness to the source material, though some find the gameplay generic. It has a 99% completion rate and a 6.33 average score. Biohazard, a Saturn port of Resident Evil, receives high praise, achieving a perfect 100% completion and an 8.0 average, with reviewers finding it a flawless port. Angel Graffiti S, a dating sim, is criticized for its dated visuals and tedious gameplay, though some enjoy the relationship progression. It has a 100% completion rate and a 4.66 average. Finally, Jet Coaster Couple Cup, another dating sim, is recommended for its simple gameplay and is seen as a good entry point to the genre, with a 100% completion rate and a 4 average. This page features reviews and previews of several games. Kicking off with Saint Tail, an adventure game, it received mixed reviews, with some finding it irritating due to slow pace and repetitive gameplay, while others enjoyed the chibi characters and minigames. Reviewers note it feels like being led by the nose, but the minigames are simple and fun. Overall, it got an average score of 5.33. Next is Nightruth Explanation of the Paranormal Number 3, Two Truths Only, another adventure title described as a digital comic. While the visuals are praised, the gameplay and scenario are criticized as lacking depth and feeling like just a digital comic, resulting in an average score of 5.0. The page then looks at Voice Fantasias, Lost Voice Power, an adventure game heavily focused on voice acting. Reviews are varied, with some noting the good voice acting and new voice power attack system as somewhat novel, but others find the tempo poor, the story weak and simple, and the overall execution feeling rushed. One section specifically questions if voice actor fans will be satisfied, suggesting the voice acting might be overwhelming. The game received a slightly lower average score of 5.0 and 4 in some sections. Finally, the editorial summary at the bottom recommends Resident Evil for PlayStation owners, DX Jinsei game as a party game, and Slayers Royal 2 and Ray Earth for anime fans, while noting dating sims are a tough genre. This page is packed with secret techniques, kicking off with tips for Zero Yan Champ. If you want to appreciate the characters and backgrounds, simply name your character CHRBG. To instantly view the staff roll, press down on the D, P, A, D, L, R, and A buttons all at the title screen. For a BGM test mode, name your character BGM Test. To max out your partner's affection from the start, name yourself Kuru Kuru. And if you're curious what Kura looks like without her glasses, just beat the story mode once. Moving on to Sonic Jam, there's a handy trick for the movie theater. To continuously play movies, hold down X, Y, or Z while selecting a movie with A or C. If you want to stop the movie marathon, just hit the start button. These are some neat little tricks to enhance your SEGA Saturn gaming experience. This article details several gaming secrets. For Toro Toro marbles, it reveals how to skip dialogue and clear questions using the L, R buttons combined with a D-pad sequence, followed by the Y or Z button. Another tip offers unlimited credits in an unspecified game by accessing options, pressing start, and mashing the L-OK button. For Waku Waku 7 Arcade, players can select taunts and win quotes by cycling through punch and kick button combinations. Impact Racing provides a list of passwords for stage progression, weapon unlocks, bonus levels, the final stage, the ending, invincibility, and unrestricted weapon use. The back page advertises Go Go, Go Go, Girl, and calls for reader submissions of SEGA Saturn game secrets for a chance to win prizes. This page is a schedule of upcoming SEGA Saturn game releases from July to November. It's a packed lineup with a wide variety of genres including action, RPG, simulation, puzzle, and more. You'll see big titles like Resident Evil, known as Biohazard in Japan, and Mega Man X4, here as Rockman X4. Super Robot Wars Fim and Raystorm, or Layer Section 2, are also in there for genre fans. Beyond the big names, there's a ton of other stuff, from adventure games and strategy titles to sports and quirky puzzle games, showing how diverse the Saturn's library was becoming. Most of the games are priced around 5,800 to 6,800 yen. Some games also mention compatibility with accessories like the Saturn mouse or twin sticks, showing off the different ways you could play on the system. It's a really solid schedule, showing that the Saturn was still going strong, with loads of new games coming out month after month. This page continues the schedule of new SEGA Saturn games. It lists a whole bunch of titles coming from November onwards, right into 98 summer. You'll see games categorized by month like November, December, then seasons like winter, 97 within the year, spring 98, and summer 98. There are titles like Sentimental Graffiti, Farland Saga, Guilty Gear, Sonic R, and Wizardry Harmony 2 in the November and December sections. Moving into winter, there's Wordsworth and R.M.J. The Mystery.
97 within the year includes titles like Simulation RPG Tsukuru and Mario Wacky Races.
For spring 98, it mentions Sakura Wars 2, World Soccer RPG, and Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3. Finally, for summer 98, there is Synchronicity.
The table includes details like price, the game makers, and genres.
Genres
range from strategy RPGs and adventure games to action, racing, and puzzle games.
Some entries also mention support for things, although it's mostly in symbols and Japanese, likely indicating accessory support or other features. It's a packed schedule, showing a lot of different kinds of games still coming to the Sega Saturn. This page explores the subtle connection between games and art, focusing on the feeling of irritation and how it relates to life. The main article is a review of Real Sound Cause No Regret. The reviewer describes experiencing this game at a Warp event and feeling a sense of irritation similar to life itself, especially when faced with irreversible choices and missed dialogue. Real Sound Cause No Regret is described as a love story where player choices in dialogue and actions, made roughly every 5 minutes, shape the story and lead to multiple endings. The reviewer notes the game's structure mirrors life, forcing players down a single path after other possibilities are discarded. He reflects on the feeling of wanting to re-experience the discarded paths, much like wanting to relive moments in life. Comparing game reviewing to movie reviewing, the reviewer highlights that unlike movies where scenes can be rewound, in Real Sound, past moments are gone, intensifying the irritation. He believes the game taps into fundamental human desires and the will to live, likening the urge to replay the game to the urge to live life. He concludes that Real Sound is a groundbreaking interactive game unlike anything before, signifying a significant leap forward for games into a new world. The page also features a section called Weekly Fuse Academy and a profile of the reviewer, Fuse Hakase, detailing his background as a scholar, writer, and artist, as well as his recent research activities in Okinawa and Ishigaki Island.
SEGA Saturn Magazine is holding a Reader Prize giveaway with 5 prize categories. 20 winners can choose a SEGA Saturn game released by July 18, 1997. 10 winners will receive a Zero Champ Doozy Typer sticker from Media Ring.
Another 10 winners will get a Slayer's Royal Memo Pad from Kadokawa Shooten, themed around the Slayer's anime. 3 winners will receive a House of the Dead t-shirt from Sega. Finally, 3 winners will win a Treasure software set, featuring rare Mega Drive titles like Dynamite Headdy, Gunstar Heroes, and Alien Soldier. The magazine also teases its upcoming issue, focusing on anime and Sega Saturn games, releasing July 25th. Contact information is provided for inquiries.
Quote,
This page showcases the upcoming Sega Saturn action RPG, Princess Crown, a collaboration between Atlus and Sega. The page highlights the game's story, which revolves around a 13-year-old princess awakening after a 25-year slumber as demons emerge. It boasts a massive 15,000 animation patterns for all characters, thanks to a morphing system. The game is priced at 5,800 yen and is scheduled for release in September 97. Below this is an advertisement for Jack Frost Original Goods Collection. You can purchase items like mini albums for 150 yen each and petite albums in black, beige, and violet colors for 300 yen each. Order information is provided for fax and telephone, along with the website address. This page seems to be an advertisement spread for an upcoming mystery adventure game from Atlus, available on both Sega Saturn and PlayStation. The game is being touted as an industry first, with moving dolls used in a full-scale mystery setting, asking, beyond peering into the darkness of the heart, is it hope or despair? They are highlighting a new armchair detective system, where you solve cases from the screen, challenging you to unravel the mysteries presented. It describes the gameplay as being like an armchair detective, using materials and reasoning to solve cases. The game is scheduled for simultaneous release on August 7, 1997, and comes with a cool pad present. The price is listed at 5,800 yen, excluding tax. Below the game advert, There's a section promoting Print Club merchandise featuring Jack Frost, a popular character. They are selling photo frame key holders in pink, blue, and clear, seal collections, index albums, and photo frame clips. These items are priced around 150 to 180 yen each, and seem to be related to the Print Club trend. Finally, at the bottom there is an advertisement for the radio show Shooting Star Boys Game Max. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game, Real Sound, Cause No Regret, or Wins Regret. It's advertised as a unique title where you play entirely by listening, with no visuals on screen. The tagline emphasizes feelings of youthful love and change. The game is set to release on July 18th as a 4 candelas room set for 6,400 yen, not including tax. It highlights the staff involved, including Kenji Ino as planning and director, Yuji Sakamoto on script, Keiichi Suzuki for music, and a voice cast featuring Takashi Kashiwabara, Miho Kano, and Ryoko Shinohara. The advertisement also includes the Warp Inc. logo, indicating they are the developers or publishers.